Mayor Jacobs, you there? Mayor Jacobs.
I'm here.
All right, we are ready to start. Let me know when you want me to start recording. The streaming is up. And we can start the meeting. We have everybody here.
1 second. Okay, go ahead and start recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we are live.
All right, let me read the virtual instructions. Notice is hereby given. The town commission of the town of Pembroke Park, Florida will hold a virtual workshop commission meeting utilizing communications media technologies, CMT, in accordance with emergency ordinances 2020-009 dated November 10, 2020, pertaining to conducting of local government meetings while under the public health emergency related to the spread of the novel coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19. The workshop commission meeting Thursday, November 24th, 2020, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can dial in using your phone, United States toll-free 1-866-899-4679 or United States 1-571-317-3116. Access code 382-089-813. 2 hours prior to the meeting, you can submit text or voicemail at 954-707-9820. Any member of the public wishing to comment publicly on a matter, including items on the agenda, may submit comments by email to the town clerk. All comments submitted to the email that, if read orally, are 3 minutes or less, shall be read into the record. All comments submitted by email shall be made as part of public record. And if any member of the public requires additional information about this town commission meeting or meetings or has any questions, may submit public comment at the meeting. Please contact Marlon Martell, Town Clerk, Town of Pembroke Park, 3150 Southwest 52nd Ave, Pembroke Park, Florida, 33023. Telephone number 954-966-4600, extension 235. Call to order, and the time is 6:08 or 18:08. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Commissioner Clark,
Here.
Clerk Commissioner DeVille,
Here.
Vice Mayor Cohen,
Here.
Mayor Jacobs.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Item 5, additions, deletions, withdrawals to the agenda. I have one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on 1 second. I have one addition I would like to add. This would be for business signs. Business signage. This was brought to my attention, and it was too late to bring anything forward. This was brought by business owners. So I have some discussion for that later on in the meeting. And anyone else?
Oh.
Commissioner
May I,
Cohen?
Mayor? Yes.
You may.
Yes, I have a lot of deletions.
Okay, let me get hold on 1 moment. Wait.
Before you start, we need
Can somebody mute?
their, yes, turn off their mics, please, because there's a lot of noise. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you,
let me get my
everyone.
pen. Hold on 1 second. All right, Vice Mayor Cohen, go ahead.
yes, first of all, I have, there's a lot of items on here from the Public Works Department that should not be on here, that are my items, and they're under Commissioner Clark's name.
Okay.
I had a meeting we did on the 17th of November at 2 o'clock. And all these items that are on here that are up for discussion that under Howard's name are the items that we spoke about at that meeting. Okay, and we had a plan in place, the manager, myself, and HR, how we could move forward because that department has been grossly mismanaged for many, many years. So that being said, you know, that was the whole purpose of this meeting, so we could move forward, how we could move forward, you know, with the town and find out what the problems were. And a lot of it came up out of the meeting. It was a great meeting, but I would like to move these items that I want to take off and move them for discussion, and if they needed to be voted on for the next meeting, regular meeting.
Okay.
So I have to give you the item numbers.
Yeah, give me the item numbers.
Okay, it would be, give me 1 second. It would be 10-2, 10-4, 10-5, 10-6, 10-7, 10-8, and 13-1.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, let me read these back to make sure I got them all right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you're asking to remove 10-2,
Wait a minute, hold. Okay, yes, 10-2, 10-4, go ahead.
10-5, 10-6,
Correct.
10-7,
Correct.
10-8.
Yes,
13-1.
correct. Wait a minute, and 13, wait, 13-12.
13-12.
13-12, yeah, I'm sorry, 13-12.
Okay.
And let me see, wait a minute, wait. Or no, yeah, 13-12, 13-1 is my item,
Okay, so we're leaving 13-1.
yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Additions, deletions, withdrawals?
Yeah, I would like to add something on there.
Okay, go ahead.
For discussion, I would like to add our approved color palette for businesses and residentials.
Okay, color palette. Put that on the back here. Hold on 1 second. Color palette. Okay. All right. Commissioner Clark?
Yeah, I want to add on where we have the Sierra Club. I'd like to add also Makalele for all, or Caporero for all. And
Wait. You got to give me the numbers.
well, we got to find the number. Hold on, let's look for the number. I don't see the number readily. Okay, wait, hold on. Walkathon. Okay, it would be is Melissa there? She could tell me what item is her
10.3.
10.3. Okay, so we had added on to there. They will have basically the same contract, and so I'd like to see that on also. A lot of you already know the professional. What?
So you want to add to 10.3? What are you adding?
I'm adding Professional Firefighters Association of South Florida. They will have an agreement like that. I would like to present with them with agreement if we may, and also the Caporero for All, which you all know from the food giveaway.
Okay. All right, we'll add Professional Firefighters Association in Caporero to 10.3. Anyone
Yes.
else? Going once? No one. All right.
Okay, then I would like to, if I may, there was comments made about 10, 2, 4, 5, 6. These were all things that we had been working on that are coming forward and need to be resolved. And there is a transition period. I understand that I am not the public service commissioner, but these items had to come forward. I sat in on the meetings with them. Some of them, JC was there with us. And so, you know, there's no reason this should be voted on and carried forward and resolved. These are ready to be resolved.
Vice Mayor Cohen requested it come to the next meeting. Then it will be brought forward and voted on at the next meeting.
Oh, okay. So as long as with these
Removed
come
from the
forward-
workshop.
Hmm?
They're
Don't you want-
removed from the workshop.
Yeah.
She's asking them to be removed
Okay.
from the workshop and they'll be on the next meeting. We'll discuss them at the next meeting and then vote on them. Is that right, Vice Mayor? Okay.
Why
That's
wouldn't you?
correct.
Why wouldn't you discuss them? I don't understand.
That's what she requested.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right. Number 6, presentations.
Hold on, you have to, Mayor, you have to accept the agenda, the revised agenda.
Okay. Motion to accept the agenda.
I second.
Oh, I need someone to make the motion.
I'll make the motion that we accept the agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Clerk Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mayor Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark.
Yes.
And
Moving
remember
on.
that this is not a voting meeting, but it is more like a consensus, so that's everyone's consensus, okay?
All right. Number 6, presentations. 6.1, Police Department presentation. Mayor Jacobs, Town Manager Jimenez, and Consultant Howard. Police,
You want me to fire that up?
Town of Pembroke Park.
Can we get that ready?
Yes, please.
There we go. Give me 1 second. Y'all see that?
We can see it.
1 second. Boom. Hold on 1 second. All right, whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm gonna mute my mic. David Howard, go ahead and give your presentation.
All right, everybody, for those of you I met, hello, and for those of you I haven't met, I look forward to meeting you. My name's Dave Howard. I actually grew up in Melrose Park, went to Westwood Elementary, Parkway Middle, and South Plantation. So having the opportunity to come back to Pembroke Park and do this is kind of like a dream come true for me anyways. So Mark, you want to go to the next slide, please?
Yep.
This is basically a mission statement real quick. And what I want to emphasize here is customer service. The agency will be small enough and the community is such that there's no reason why we can't offer superior customer service to the residents and to anybody, in fact, that travels through the town of Pembroke Park. And not to, I'll go ahead and just take a minute and read it to you. The town of Pembroke Park Police Department will endeavor to provide exceptional customer service while upholding a high level of safety to all persons, utilizing respect, a sense of community, and unrestricted civility to each member of the greater public. and I really want to emphasize customer service. That's going to be our focus at the agency. Next slide, Mark. Next slide's our vision statement, and it's going to be our vision will be to maintain a safe community while simultaneously preserving an unrestricted and small town community within the town of Pembroke Park. And we'll probably, once the agency is up and running, we'll probably revisit these occasionally and change our focus as our focus needs change within the community. Next slide, Mark. The layout of the agency is going to be the chief of police, a captain, 1 lieutenant, 4 sergeants, 9 officers, 2 civilians. I should note that we're only looking to hire 1 more civilian. The other civilian already works at the town hall in the records area, and also Warren would be another civilian that would work at the agency, and I'll get into it as I go through the slides. Next slide, please. Basic org chart. The chief administrative assistant. The administrative assistant will help with scheduling, training, schedules, etc. The captain, the lieutenant. Underneath the lieutenant will be records and a detective, 4 sergeants, and 8 officers. Next slide. What I did here is I went through the FDLE database and kind of cut out all those cities or towns within the state of Florida who have a population similar to size as us. And then I looked at how many sworn officers they have, and the number of sworn officers is based on per 1,000 people in the population, which if you go over to the right gives you a ratio. And we're actually starting out pretty good with a ratio of 2.4 compared to other agencies of similar size with more officers and actually a little bit more population, but they have way more officers than us. And a good number to strive to be is a 3.0. That's like the recognized good place to be for numbers per 1,000 residents. Currently, you're working under the contract with the BSO. You have 5 deputies, 24 hours a day. So figuring out a 12-hour shift, that's 20 officers. And if you combine the West Park population with the town of Pembroke Park, you're operating under a 0.93 policemen to residents. So I don't think that that's a good number to represent the people of Pembroke Park. Next slide. Our timeline, we've done everything up through December, except for the actual hiring. So from here through June, everything's we have a lot of work ahead of us. We have to order equipment. We have to get the building done. A lot of things have to be taken care of and put in place before June. And my goal is to actually deploy our policemen before June. So our target date, however, is June. But again, we compete with, there's 31 municipalities in Broward County. The Broward Sheriff's Office is the 5th largest sheriff's office in the country. We're not going to offer, we're not going to be able to compete with their pay. We're not going to be able to, but we are, however, we are going to have a really nice benefits package. In fact, the entire town right now has a really nice benefits package. So I kind of think that our target employee would appreciate that benefit package more than the pay. So, and if you want to go to the next slide. startup costs. I don't have a cost for the building. I don't have a cost for the furniture. Your personnel cost your first year for the startup is $550,000. The vehicles is a 5-year contract. The first year of the contract, or the lease, if you will, is $291,000. The vehicles come ready to go. We don't have to do anything. You know, they come with all the stickers, and I'll show you what the vehicle is going to look like here in another slide. Radios, another huge expense. It looks like it's a one-time cost of $255,000. Regional dispatch. I still haven't got the final number on that, but due to the ad valorem tax that was passed in 2012, I believe, it shouldn't cost us anything, because we'll be part of that regional dispatch center that your ad valorem tax in Broward County pays, and they have a $45 million facility that's built by the county, owned by the county, run by Broward Sheriff's Office dispatchers. RMS is our records management system. So every ticket we write, every police report we write, every contact we make is collected in this database. It's a 5-year contract. Again, the first year out of the box, because of the cost of the servers, etc., it's $166,000. After that, it's $18,000 a year for 5 years. And then after that, it goes up a percentage. And our IT guy he's really knowledgeable about all that stuff. So Mark, if anybody has any questions about that, I direct them to Mark. Axon is basically Taser International. I want to outfit every officer with a taser and a body camera. And there's only one manufacturer for taser, and that's Axon. There's other manufacturers for body cameras. However, if I stick with Axon for the taser and the body camera, anytime a gunshot goes off, everybody's camera within 35 feet would go off. The command would be notified of a gunshot. If an officer pulls a taser out of their holster, their body camera automatically goes on. And if our attorney's listening, I'm sure she can tell you how indispensable these body cameras are for police departments. I know my last agency, the officers initially were very, very, very much against them. However, after we were one of the first in Palm Beach County to go to them, and within a very, very short time, they didn't want to go on the road if they didn't have a body camera. So these things are amazing, and they'll pay for themselves over and over again. Firearms, I'm looking at the Smith & Wesson 9mm. It's a smaller frame gun, and officers seem to have a better, find it much easier to qualify with and to carry, versus for the longest time, police departments were going to the larger frame 40 calibers, but there's been many studies done on it. And so I've decided that the 9mm is the way to go. Each gun is $420, and the corresponding leather and ammunition, etc. That's where the $20,000 comes from to outfit 16 officers. Miscellaneous fees, we put that in there to cover anything that might pop up that we didn't think about, but we thought about just about everything. And if Harry can help you with the any questions on the miscellaneous fees, but that includes everything from paperwork, printing, because we're going to need backup, police reports, etc. So that's what that $25,000 would encompass. Uniforms, going with a navy blue uniform. I think the navy blue uniform kind of speaks for itself, and they look like a policeman with the corresponding leather belt, etc. And every officer will look the same. And I found a local vendor, and I've checked 4 or 5 different sources, and all the prices are pretty much the same. But this gentleman is local to Broward, and we can do everything one-stop shop with him. Computers, sticking with the town of Pembroke Park, going with the Dell Tough Books for the police cars. Everything's done now via computer. Even ticket writing, they don't write tickets by hand anymore. It's kind of a lost art. So everything's done by the computer now. And unfortunately, the Broward County Commission does not accept electronic transfer of ticket files. So the officers are going to have to print up 2 tickets, one to give the violator and one to give to the county. So the computers, we got a price from Dell, $45,000 for enough computers to put in the sergeant's cars and the policeman cars. And there's no additional cost on that. Body armor, it goes without saying, and you can't send a policeman out in the street today without body armor. And unfortunately, it's pretty pricey, especially something that you can wear in the South Florida heat. So that came in at $16,000. Stop sticks, I'd like to put stop sticks in the police cars in the event of a violent felony. You know, they can deploy the stop sticks to deflate the tires, and no chase and no possibility of property damage. Key management system, and we'll go through everything in here so you have a better idea what it is. The key management system, because we're going to have 18 cars, people are going to have offices with doors, locks, etc. The key management system will be something that would be controlled, that would control all the keys. And you know, you use your thumb, basically use your thumb, it opens the door, it highlights that key that you requested. They all look the same inside the box. So if it didn't highlight it, you wouldn't know what it looked like. And when you get done with the key, you put your thumb back on the device, it opens the door, you put the key back in, and it's logged and videotaped, etc. Ballistic helmets, you know, I don't have to tell you what those are for if you've been watching the news in the last year. You know, the ballistic helmets will definitely, if we need them, they're very handy, and if hopefully we'll never use them, but if we do, we have them. And ballistic shields, I'm trying to order 2 of those, and we can, you know, I can deploy 1 or 2, day shift and night shift, and they'll be out on the road. So if for whatever reason, barricaded subject, etc., we have the ballistic shield for the officers to stand behind. They're kind of pricey. They're about $4,000 each, but they're definitely worth their weight in gold, especially if the policeman gets to go home at the end of the night. So the total, excluding the building and the furniture, is for the startup is going to be $1,498,500. Next slide, please. Annual cost going forward after we complete 2021, the personnel cost will be $1,321,700. Overtime, I put in 10%, gives me a cost of $90,000. Benefits, which, I mean, I think this number is going to be a lot smaller because not all of our employees are going to want or need benefits through the town. So, but we just, for worst case scenario, we put the entire force on it at $906,000. So that gives us a total payroll of $2,317,700. And as I explained earlier, the RMS is that software we write our tickets on, we write our police reports on. That's $18,000. The Axiom is $48,000, and that's for the $18,000. The Axion's $48,000, and those are 5-year contracts. They will not go up until the end of 5 years, and then we have to renegotiate at that point. But they're guaranteed not to go up more than, I don't know, 3 to 5% or something. The vehicles after the first year will be 165. At the end of 5 years, we have the option of trading them in for up to 10,000 on a trade-in. Vehicle repair and maintenance is we put it in at 55,000. This includes fuel, office supplies, 7,500, miscellaneous officer expenses, you know, a new uniform shirt, whatever, 10,000 a year. Dispatch, we still have that down at 0. Air cards, that's going to be a recurring expense for the laptops for the officers to be able to access the internet in the car. 8,700. Miscellaneous expenses 50,000, and the city's insurance is going to be 50,000. That gives us an annual operating expense of $2,750,000 a year, which is significantly less than you're paying the Broward Sheriff's Office. Next slide, please, Mark. As I stated before, we're going to give you an idea what the police cars are going to look like. Is the slide still up, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's our police car. We had a couple to choose from. I kind of like this one the best. I don't know. You can tell me what you guys think of it. Of course, there's going to be a light bar up top. So next slide. Each officer is going to have a handheld radio on their body. Each car is going to have a corresponding radio in the car. These things are very expensive. There's a federal mandate that just came into effect, I guess, after Hurricane Andrew, actually, when all these first responders, et cetera, responded to Miami after the hurricane. They couldn't talk to each other. So they were really scrambling for radios. Well, these radios fix that problem. So, you know, God forbid we have another hurricane, or we get tasked by the state to go help another agency in another part of the state. We'll have radios that'll be able to talk to other policemen and first responders. Next slide. Some of the software requirements that that the agency is going to need is the computer-aided dispatch is done by Broward County currently, and but we still have to have access to it. As an example, one of the commissioners may come into the office and say, "Hey, listen, I got a real crime problem over here in this area of the town, and you know, we're going to access the computer-aided dispatch software to highlight calls of service." It'll be instantaneous. You won't have to put in a request anymore to Broward. It'll be just absolutely, you know, you pick up the phone, say, "Dave, this is what I got. What can you give me?" And I will give you so much information that we can hopefully all put our heads together and resolve the issue. The records management system we already talked about. You also have to have a software for internal affairs, for officer investigations, both criminal, hopefully not, but administrative. And then our policies and procedures currently right now, I think I've got together about 125 policies, and I envision another 25 or 30 once the agency actually opens its doors. And the evidence, you know, that's really, really big. You know, you got to maintain that stuff. You got to know exactly what shelf you put it on. You got to know how long it's there so you can rotate it out and destroy it or give it to the community or whatever. And you got to have track of your evidence. It's really important. Next slide, Mark. As I talked to you a few minutes ago about the tasers and the body cams. So these are some of the highlights of the product. The gunshot alerts, command notification, records management. So as an example, I don't know, the policeman stops, I don't know, a town employee, and the town employee is maybe not appropriate, or the policeman's not appropriate. Everything's captured on the body cam. We can attach that body cam video to the actual police report. So whenever you go to read the police report, you know, it'll say, "Hey, you got a video here. You can watch this too." So, I mean, it's just amazing what this stuff does and how far they've come in the last 10 or 15 years. And then, of course, live streaming from the field. So, you know, God forbid we have an incident, you know, they can live stream it back to the command at the police station. Next slide, Mark. Evidence and locker room solutions. Once we get in the building, our evidence section is going to be super hardened because evidence is just that important, not only to the integrity of the criminal cases, but to the integrity of the town as well. And so there's a bunch of options and et cetera that we can look at for the evidence lockers. The one on the right there is a refrigerated one, for instance, for example, for a rape kit, DUI, stuff like that. And part of what I did for 27 years at the West Palm Beach Police Department was I was an assessor and I traveled the country inspecting agencies. I've seen everything in there from an old Frigidaire refrigerator. It works, you know, but if it goes out in the middle of the night, you know, then you potentially could lose a lot of evidence. And it's our responsibility to hold on to the evidence until at such time it's not needed. Let's go to the next slide, Mark. We talked about the keeper system, about all the police cars we're going to have and all the vehicles, etc. All the keys would go in here, and you use your finger, your thumb, whatever we decide. I'll give I'll make sure that the commissioners all have access to it if they need to get in here and look or access a log or whatever. You can go in, you can put your finger on there, say I want car number 32. When you open the door, the car number 32 key is flashing. If the key is not in there for some reason, then you won't even get in. It won't even let you in. It'll say the key's not in there. So this is really neat. We can put the office doors keys in here, everything. So next slide. We talked about this. I was wrong at 120 done already. Still need a few more, but you can't really write the policies until you know how your process is going to go. This is a policies, procedures. As far as I'm concerned, you can't run a police department without them. And, we have to have it. We're going to be state accredited. I mean, once the building is completed, right away, we're going to apply for state accreditation. And on the next slide, Mark. I had a video here, but I must have dropped off or whatever. But anyways, it's through you can read here, the Florida Sheriff's Association. It's run by Florida Accreditation, is actually run by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And it actually helps with insurance rates for the city or the town. And you do things, per the way everybody else does it. So you can't, like for instance, an evidence procedure or an arrest procedure or whatever. Everything's done in a certain way that's independently checked, and it's, that's blessed by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. There's also a national accreditation board, but I just don't see a need for us to do that. It's very expensive. This is like $400 for 3 years. And of course, but it's the inspection's very, very difficult. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is my presentation. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope it didn't put anybody to sleep. If there's any questions, please, I'm right here. Please ask me.
David, where are we on the timeline? Are we right on track, or where are we?
We're actually a little ahead of schedule. We have to get the cars ordered. The vehicles are such that the manufacturers only open a certain window to order police cars, and then they shut the window down. So if you don't buy those police cars in that open window, you can't get them for that year. So we're very, very tight on the cars. All the other equipment, however, is no problem, and they're all waiting for us. So we're good there.
Go ahead, Ray.
Sir, we can't hear you. Commissioner DeVille, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Going back to the organizational chart, the captain, do we need a captain?
Well,
It seems like he's just there not doing anything.
oh, no, that's not true. You know, the thing, Commissioner, is, as the chief of police, if I'm the chief of police or whoever the chief of police may be, they have to sign off on all discipline, etc. And you need that layer to protect the chief. You know what I mean? So that's just one thing. The other thing is internal affairs investigations. If something turns criminal, you know, you'd want that captain to do those internal affairs investigations. The captain is critical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah, I have another one. The mobile home parks, some of the streets are very narrow. Is
Yes,
there any way we can get some motorcycles to maneuver in there a lot easier?
Well, I'll be honest with you. What I'm showing you is just the startup. You know, I envision college interns helping the detective with cases internally. I envision police reserves and police part-timers. I envision policemen even on golf carts or bicycles. You know, I mean, that's all a possibility. But right now, I'm just concentrating on just getting it up and running.
Okay. You also mentioned Broward County will handle the dispatching.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? Okay.
The county will dispatch.
Right. How will they know when they should send BSO or our guys? If it's, you know, they might think it's West Park or.
Well, it basically
Can't tell the difference.
on their computer-aided dispatch screen, when the call comes in from the call taker, it goes to the dispatch screen and it actually populates with the unit that's available to take that call. So it'll automatically default to us.
Okay.
It's really complicated, and it's really neat how they've progressed over the last 25, 30 years in dispatch. So, I mean, one day we should all run over there and look at their system. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I was just thinking with a cell phone, it would be hard to determine if it's, you know, the person's in West Park or Pembroke Park.
Yeah, it's all based on
SO
address.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a few
And
questions.
Commissioner, we'll also be part of a consortium through a memorandum of understanding throughout Broward County. So, I mean, if it's as an example, an unknown 911 call, one or two blocks that's pinging 1 or 2 blocks into West Park, I mean, there's no reason why we can't go to that. You know.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how are you gonna work with the COP program that we have now for our explorers? What are you gonna do? Just bring them in? How's that gonna work?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the Explorer program's up and running. It seems to be pretty viable and strong. You know, I would definitely like to have some of our officers involved in that as well, but I don't envision me, you know, breaking off. I mean, look, we got to be realistic. It's a 16-man department. So, I mean, I think we can complement Broward Sheriff's Office with the Explorers and the community policing and the, you're talking about like civilians on patrol. Yeah,
Right.
I would definitely like to have a civilian on patrol with our brand on it, you know, but that's not now. We just have to get up and running right now.
And then what about, if I may, what about, how are you gonna handle like gang-related crimes or the burglaries? You know, sometimes we get a wave of burglaries in the town.
Yeah, you're talking about like 25 cars getting broken into overnight in one of the parks?
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to?
Is
Well,
one
we're gonna-
okay,
Go
no,
ahead,
go
sir.
ahead.
Well, I mean,
Okay, no, go ahead.
Well, I mean, everybody talks to everybody. So, it doesn't matter if it's, I mean, if we have to reach out to Hallandale and ask for help, or we have to reach out to the Broward Sheriff's Office to ask for help, they're not going to say no. They're going to share information. And especially at the officer level, I mean, it's not going to be contentious whatsoever. I mean, everybody's going to work with each other. That's the way it works. There's jurisdictions everywhere, and we do this all the time. So it's not something new. Certainly doable.
And what about the K9 unit?
We don't have one.
So, okay, so how would you handle that if we needed a K9? That's what I'm
We'd
trying
ask,
to determine.
we'd put in a request in for the Broward Sheriff's Office or Hallandale or whatever. But we're not going to have a crime scene person either. So all the officers are going to wear many hats. So it's going to be, but they're going to be older, more experienced officers, and we're going to do most of our crime scenes ourselves unless it's a very, very serious felony. Then of course we're going to call in a professional crime scene person for the professional crime scene work for case follow-up, etc. But for the typical auto burglary work, we can do our own fingerprinting, we can do our own DNA swabs, stuff like that.
Okay, but if we had to, is that going to be more money that we're going to have to come up to pay?
No.
Okay. And then where is the money going to come from to start the startup, while we're also paying BSO? Is that going to be a grant? Is that going to be, what do you vision? How do you see that?
I'll let JC handle that. It's out of my lane.
Well, there's a couple options. We are actively pursuing grants with D. Carper to try to minimize the amount of the startup cost. The rest of the money would either come from, would have to come from reserves and or the investment accounts the town has. So the town does have some money in there, but we are hoping to we're actively pursuing grants from D. Carper.
And I'd like to make one more comment on that. Keep in mind, we recoup our startup costs within 2 to 3 years of starting our own department, because we're operating at a cheaper cost than what we're currently paying BSO. So we do recoup those costs, and we'll be cash positive for the department within 2 to 3 years.
And what do you look at as far as our profit now? Do you see those numbers that we just have in front of us? What is that?
We're paying right now. We're paying 3.3 million a year right now, and what we're looking at is $2,750,000 a year for operation. So inevitably, we're saving $550,000 a year by having our own department. The biggest thing is not just the money; we're actually getting a service for our community that we're not getting now. So we can waste 3.3 million a year and get nothing, or actually have our own department that's actually providing a service for our community and save the town $5 million, $500,000. It's that we save the town money, and we actually have a service that we're utilizing, because right now we're paying 3.3 million for service that we're not getting.
Yeah, I would ask, does anybody know any of the policemen that patrol your community now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
How many deputies do you know, Howard?
Well, I think there's, who is that? Hernandez, the one that award for his outstanding work. Then we have, if you count the chief or captain, Coker.
No. We're talking deputies that are actually working the road.
I think, well, he might be higher than a deputy, but the only one that I would know that I can think of offhand, I'm sure I know several, is Hernandez. Hernandez.
And Howard, that's the problem. Currently now, not even our residents know who our deputies are. that will change when we have a community-based policing platform with their own police department. They will be active in the community, meeting our residents and knowing our residents.
I think we know a lot of them by sight. I don't know them all by name, but I know a lot of them by sight. I can't say that I don't know them by name. I'd have to see them. And when they're at these events or they're at a scene,
Me,
I know
being the
stuff.
police commissioner, I can't name but a couple. That's it, you know? So
And I'll guarantee you by the end of next year, you'll know all 8 of your officers. You'll know their names. You'll know how many kids they have. You'll know everything about them.
any other questions? No one? All right, let's move on to 6.2. 6.2, design services for the proposed police department. Mayor Jacobs, Town Manager Jimenez.
This before you is the design proposal for the first floor of the police department. For the first floor, which would be the where the current building department is and current public works department is. We would convert that entire space into the police department. And this is the design proposal. Obviously, this is not a voting meeting. This is just to put this into, move this forward to the commission meeting. I wanted to say before, just to answer some of your, I think this question is going to come up. Yes, I did meet with BSO, myself and Mayor Jacobs. We met with BSO. They are working on a proposal. I told them how many officers we were looking at having in our own department. They're working those numbers. They also know that the commission's desire to have our own contract and not be tied, with West Park. And they are working those numbers. They did indicate that since we are basically creating a brand new contract, there would be some startup costs, like we would have as creating our own police department. There would be startup costs. And they also mentioned that we would need, they would have to use, they would use our police department, our facility, because it'd be completely brand new. So we would house them if let's say BSO comes in and they it's a great deal and we stay with BSO and they would be in our first floor as well. But I don't have that proposal yet. Major Irving, who was at the meeting along with Captain Coker, Lieutenant Charles, and members of the BSO Fire. Lieutenant Irving did say that he's going to try to get it because obviously he has to go to his higher ups, and he was going to try to do everything possible to get it as quickly as he possibly could, but he couldn't tell me exactly when. So I am waiting for him.
I'd just like to also just reaffirm that they did say there are going to be startup costs if we go with the contract with BSO that does not include West Park. Even after 40 years of having a contract with BSO, we're basically going to be starting over with BSO. We're still going to have to build a police department in our town that they want to operate out of, separate from the facility that's on Hollandale Beach. Any questions on this? No one? Okay, we'll move to 6.3. 6.3, police
Mayor?
chief. Yes.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask 2 questions. Number 1 is the police presentation. Is there any action that's going to take forth? Do you want to move it on to the December meeting for any type of vote, or is this just a presentation?
Well, I would like to move it forward for a vote, but here's the dilemma. We need to move it forward for the vote so we can get going to keep with our timeline and not fall behind. BSO has other pressing matters that are more important than the contract with the town of Pembroke Park. So we don't know when we're actually going to get a presentation on what they're going to be presenting to us with regards to a new contract. So we're kind of in one of those spots. Do we wait on BSO and risk putting a ripple in the delay of the launch of a start of our own department, or do we proceed forward with it? So we brought this forward as a presentation. I believe we should move it forward for a vote for the next meeting. And hopefully BSO will come forward with their proposal before then.
Okay, then I'll move it on to the December meeting. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds
And
good.
then fine, the same thing, you'd like to move it forward?
Yeah, let me discuss 6.2 real quick. This was for discussion. Either way, we're going to have a police department within town hall. If we go with the contract with BSO, we're gonna have to have a department. Or if we start our own department, we're gonna have to have a contract. So this proposal here is, JC, what was the amount on this? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I believe it came out to 4,900. Let me just pull this up real quick. Yeah, no, actually, this was the old proposal. We revised it, and it's at 4,900.
Okay, so we'll move 6.2 to the vote meeting.
Okay. Not a problem. Thank you. I just need you at the end of the items, just let me know if you're gonna moving them to consent or to the meeting or for the following workshop. Thank you.
No problem. This is my first workshop. Police Chief Recruitment, Mayor Jacobs, and HR Director Mengazo. Yolanda, are you here? Anyone know if Yolanda's here?
I don't see her on.
Okay.
I think she's out of town. She told me.
That's fine.
Yeah.
She's out of town. I'll tell you what we discussed, her and I. We kind of have three options that we can do. We can make David Howard the interim police chief, since he's been building the department and has all the knowledge on the construction and how this department's going to operate. In this situation, what we have here is a little unique. What it would be interim for a year. That's basically from January through June to get the department up and going. And then from June till December, that's 6 months actually in operation, which will give us a 1 year as an interim police chief. And he can prove himself as the police chief. After that, we can make him the permanent police chief or decide to go out for hire based on his performance. The second thing we can do is we can decide to hire him outright. That would be up to the commission and just make him the police chief now. Or we can actually go out for bid to find another police chief outside of what we have right now. So those are the three options we have. Any questions? Okay, let's move this one forward and then we'll vote on one of those three ideas. This, for everyone that's here, I honestly believe the best way to do it would be, as we've done with other departments around this town, make him the interim police chief for, for a year and on a 1 year period, which gives him 6 months to continue getting the department up and going as the chief, and then 6 months in actual operation as the chief. Does anyone have anything to say? No? Okay.
Yeah, I would like to speak to him before I make a decision
Yes.
on those options.
We'll talk to him. Yeah, I have a question. Okay, is he
Okay, go ahead.
certified? Is he certified? Is he certified?
David Howard, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm
Dave?
still certified.
Okay,
He's
good.
still certified.
Very good.
Any other questions? Anyone have any input on that? How they want to proceed? How they think we should proceed?
Now, I will say this: if the commission does choose to hire him as an employee, whether it's interim or full time, you know, he would have to go through all the protocols that all employees go through. And as far as law enforcement, he'd have to go through a background check and all that. So we would be doing all of our homework in that regard, if that's what the commission chooses to do.
Okay, then I'll bring those three up at the next meeting. Marlon?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. All right, moving on. Number 7, reports of committees and city staff. 7.1, commission legislation priorities. Commissioner Clerk, Town Manager Jimenez, and Town Lobbyist David Sigerson.
Okay, we met and we had a general overall with all the players, and David Sigerson, the lead lobbyist, he could comment on that. And we laid out again our strategy, and JC was there. And so if I may let David Sigerson comment on it. Is David here? Yeah, there he is.
Hold on.
Mute yourself.
Okay, I think I just did. Sorry. Can't get used to this. Yes, that's correct. Commissioner Clark, we had like a little, phone conversation. Here's what I know. The delegation is going to take up annexation in a workshop in January. The date has not been set yet, but looking at the legislative schedule, it's going to have to be in the week in between the two legislative committee meeting weeks. The first one is the week of the 11th, and the second one is the week of the 25th. So I guess that would be the week of the 18th is when I would expect that they would hold their workshops, their public hearings and so forth. Now, what we discussed, I think, is to what I recommend, and I discussed this with both JC and Commissioner Clark, is a kind of to take a go slow, wait and see attitude, to wait and see what they did. And the reason why I say this is because at the delegation meeting, at the organizational meeting, the new chair of the delegation, Senator Perry Thurston, he announced, he said, that he had some areas that had never gotten annexed in central Broward. I don't know if everybody knows about them. Some of those neighborhoods, Howard knows. There's about 4 or 5 neighborhoods, Broadview Park's one of them. There's a couple of others that are close to 95 that line between Fort Lauderdale and Plantation that never got annexed. There's probably about 30,000 people that live in those neighborhoods. So that issue has periodically raised its head, and apparently it has recently, with respect to Senator Perry's. It's got onto Senator Perry or Senator Thurston's radar screen. So he mentioned that specifically. He also mentioned issues in South County. I think he was a little bit vague, but we all know what he was referring to. And so we know it's going to come up. That's all we really know at this point. But the throwaway line that he gave that I thought was kind of interesting. He basically said, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to have a workshop nonetheless. So I think I think reading the in between the lines, which I have to do a lot of these, with legislators, is that, he knows it's a controversial issue. He knows that annexation has always been a controversial issue, and that it will continue to be a controversial issue. So I think he was sending a message out to everyone that's like, well, to tamping down expectations, I guess you might want to say. Also, I've had conversations with Senator Jones, and I don't want us to prejudge what his position may be. We do know that activists within West Park are still very much interested in either taking some or all of the business community that we have, or a even a possibility of merger that's been mentioned in the past. So that's kind of where I think we are, is to, I guess, be at the ready, but not necessarily jump the gun and you know, sound the alarm bells at this point. So if anybody has any questions, I mean, I don't know, perhaps the manager,
Yeah,
the
but I
commissioner.
want to ask you, yeah, Dave. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to also tell them the 6 points, the priorities? It wasn't just annexation that we talked about. We talked about 6 specific points that you're going to look for in Tallahassee. Could you explain those?
Are you talking about? You're talking about
grant appropriations. That's one of them. There was 6 items that became the priorities. Septic to sewer.
The six priority items.
Yeah.
Septic to sewer. Yeah, I think there were a couple that we have. I think there was there may have been one that we were going to. There were a couple that needed to have the numbers revised, but basically we're talking about the 5 priority issues that we had last year, the 5 priority what you call it, member project requests, and then of course obviously the annexation legislation that we proposed last year, which is now a priority issue for the League of Cities, which has been mentioned, I think, to you all in the past, is that we now have the full weight or the full resources of the League of Cities at our disposal to help us, with our legislation. The big issue right now, and I was unable to reach David Cruz to have a follow-up conversation, but I had a conversation with him, I don't know, a week or so ago, 10 days ago, about the fact that the most important thing that we need to do in that regard is to recruit a strong sponsor for our legislation. And so he said he would think about it, and then basically we're supposed to get back together, and I'll give him a call tomorrow again and see what his thought process is about that. But I think I don't have the list of the projects in front of me, but it's the town hall hardening, the John P. Lyons, and I believe there was another drainage project and then there's Countyline Road, and I forget what the
police grant. Dave.
Oh, the police grants. Yes, that's right. Police grants.
Agro-Eco, the promotional center.
Yeah, and I understand that.
He here
and
is the.
I don't want to take your thunder away, Commissioner Clark, about the grant that the town has been given, but we may be looking for collateral grants to go to coincide with the grant that the town is already qualified for or is already on the list for, and I think that becomes a priority. That's actually something that I wanted to have a follow-up conversation with Dee and Connie about, is that grant that the town has qualified for and was placed in the upper half of the list, 6th out of 16, I believe.
18
qualified. Well, two of them didn't qualify, I think. So there ended up being 16 that were qualified, but we got 6th. Now it'll be a question of lobbying for that bucket of money to be filled up by the legislature so that the grants can be granted, kind of like what we do with FERDAP each year, that the city has a FERDAP grant. We have to lobby for the FERDAP bucket to get filled up. It doesn't always get funded. And there have been several years where it didn't get funded. Last year it did, and so we got that money. But yeah, that is something that we actually have to work on. Even though the grant, we're in a good position on the grant, we still have to lobby for that money to be appropriated by the legislature.
Yep.
Anyway,
Okay, so
does that explain?
yeah, I think you pretty much hit it. Septic to sewer for 30th Avenue.
Septic to sewer, that was the other one. Yeah, septic to sewer, that was the other one.
And then I guess JC will have some comments we could hear.
Yeah, I'm reviewing this. I mean, for the commission, the report is included in the agenda, so you have that as your backup. I did meet with David and Commissioner Clerk, and Connie was there, and Miriam, to go over the list of projects that we're seeking funding for. I am a little confused though, because I'm noticing something here on this, and I'm not sure if it just, this is the first time I'm seeing it, and if I apologize if I didn't see it before. The new municipal office and public safety complex, $8.5 million. I don't know where that came from there. Was that something that was added? Was that
I don't know, Dave, is D here?
I don't know if Dee's here. That's the first. I'm sorry, that's the first I'm hearing of it too. What? JC, say that again. What? It says the projects below are taken from the town prepared booklet handed out during the September tour of the town. In some cases, numerous projects have been combined into one large project. And the first one, it says new municipal offices, public safety complex, $8.5 million. Town offices, police, and potentially a fire station, also including EOC shelter, public works facility.
Yeah, I believe that's over JC in the Seneca property, over in Seneca.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
property
I've
over
not
there.
seen this before either.
And so I believe that's the site, and they have talked about that before. So that's a new one. That's good. Whatever we can get, as long as we stick with your.
Yeah, if I might, that was on the wish list that was developed during the workshop that we had in 2019 or 18 or 19, and so if it's on my report, it may be a little misleading. Yeah, it may be a little misleading. That was not chosen as a priority last year. We did not seek funding for that last year. I think that is more of a down the road. This is something that we would like to eventually get, is to develop that Seneca property to do this, big municipal and public safety complex on the shore of the lake. I correct me if I'm wrong about that.
No, you're right, and it's town property. We own that property, so that was an idea that came up previously. But as David said, it was a prior year.
I apologize. I got confused because I saw it on here, and so I was like, wait, I don't remember hearing about this when we all met. All right. So, but for the commission, it's in there. All the requests that we're requesting this year are in the report. And if you have any questions, if not, we can just move this on for a vote at the next meeting.
Yeah, perhaps I could edit the report that's in your backup to include the priority items that were talked about at the previous workshop that the commission's basically already said, or even though you didn't vote on it, I think there was a consensus that we basically refile all of the projects that we filed the last year, and plus the police, look for anything having to do with police funding, either in the budget or grant wise and so forth. And so to avoid further confusion, maybe what I'll do is I'll revise what I submitted at the previous workshop, just
Okay, so instead of putting this on the consent menu or consent agenda, let's put this up just for vote. And Sigerson, if you could give us the update, so we got a chance to review that prior to the next meeting, would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
When is that next meeting going to be? I'm sorry.
It's December, hold on, let me pull up the calendar. I think it's December 9th.
Yes,
Okay.
it's
December 9th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully we can get the new numbers on some of the old previous projects. We needed to have revised numbers on them, and I'll kickstart that process tomorrow morning.
What I would like to see, if we may, is something that we do, David, at the Florida League of Cities. We have our priority list, and then we have our wish list. And the priority list, of course, is going to be, seeked after more diligently than the wish list. But I think maybe it would be nice if we could identify that, like we do on the committee I sit on, Dave. We have a priority, and then we have wish lists. So maybe we could get together and do that and add some other things that are just out there from prior years or this year, or things we can think of, and then vote on that whole thing next month.
Right, and just to remind some and maybe inform others, is that the way that the process has worked in Tallahassee for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years is, with limited funds available for member projects, is that when push comes to shove, when you're down to the final voting or the final budget meetings, members will go to the presiding officers or the big budget chairs in their respective House and Senate, and they'll be asked what is, they'll have a number of projects that they're going to be able to have, but usually it comes down to one project per city, and they may get 3 or 4 projects to give to cities within their districts. All of those senators at least have 5 and 6, 7, 10 cities sometimes in their districts. Anyway, so that's why it's important for us to know what our main priority is. Now the reason for submitting 5, 6 projects in different budget silos is the hope that and this, I'm just being real with everybody here, and if Richard were here, he would tell you the same thing. Connie would tell you the same thing. Dee, Helmick, we all would tell you the same thing, and that is with a $3 to $3.5 billion budget hole that the legislature is facing this year, and another $2 billion next year. Our only realistic hope of getting funding for any projects is if the mess in Washington sorts itself out to the extent that they can get together in Congress and pass something that will help the states, especially with shovel-ready projects. And that's why it's important for us to identify our shovel-ready projects, so that if those appropriations do occur and the states do have money that they can spend, then they're going to be looking for shovel-ready projects, because part of the idea is going to be stimulus. Just so, that's kind of where it's at. That's where we are. So we need to know what's shovel-ready. We need to know what our priorities are. Yes, absolutely right, Commissioner.
Thank you, Dave.
Let's put this one on as a separate vote. That way, Dave has a chance to update that list for us, and we'll proceed on. Next item, 7.2, Broward Sheriff's Office, Captain Coker.
Good evening, Mayor. Can
Hello.
you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Go
Hi.
ahead.
All right. Good evening. Good evening, commissioners and town manager. Attached, you have the monthly analysis for the month of October. It just touches on everything that we've had. We had a total call of services for the town of 608 calls for services, and they were broken down into non-emergency, emergency, still initiated, and MDT calls for services. You also touch on your accidents and your traffic citations that were issued in the town. And we had a total of 12 arrests in the town for the month of October. Also, if you look at the analysis, we had 3 residential burglaries in the mobile home park. Those are, we don't know the exact time frame of those because those were due to, they were broken into while the victims were out of town. So we're waiting for the victims to get back in town to give us a full breakdown of what all was missing and see if we can follow up from it there with serial numbers and everything. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I do. I just want to thank you and wish you all a nice, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We appreciate it. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody as well.
Happy Thanksgiving, Chief. Appreciate the report.
Thank you.
All right, 7.3, Fire Department, Chief Kane. Chief, are you here? I don't see his name on the list. Chief Croker?
Yeah, I don't believe he's here, man.
He's here. I just see BSO. I don't see anyone.
Yeah, I don't believe they're here, sir.
Okay. Then 7.4, Building Department Building Department report. Interim building official, Nunez.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Miguel Nunez, interim building official for the town of Pembroke Park. This time I would like to present the first fiscal year 2021 monthly status report. As always, we are continuing with our customary service via the electronic plan review. Finally, we have what is called unformalized electronic plan review for a non-contact approach for our internal and external customers. In addition, we continue to perform in-house and virtual meetings as needed in accordance to the customers. By the number, we closed last year very strong, and during this initial month, we have increased the number of permits, and also we have increased the permits closed, inspections, and the front counter visits. So that means we are going back into a progressive increase business into the building department. Just to like customary, structural perform 85 inspections, mechanical 29, electrical 37, plumbing 36, for a total of 187 inspections for the entire department. That includes only on the 4 disciplines for the building department. In revenue, our first month, we collected $40,800, and that's on the first month of on the fiscal year, that's October. And we expect we are in trend for maintaining our budget and our collections. Large construction project summary. Basically, if you can follow me into the presentation, exactly what you have in front of you, I put the districts into the status, and you will see that we already have a presentation for building 5 that we are submitted. We are in plan review right now. This is a change from the last month, which it was in DRC. That's building 5 on Seneca. In addition, we have a new building, which is a new warehouse building for a major retailer and distribution center in the Seneca area also. It's not here because it's going to be, it went after this report came out. Also, we are continuing doing inspections for the Pembroke Plaza. That's a new shopping plaza in Federal Highway. And the one thing that it was changed from the last month, that it is the last item, the 3-story building. That is going to change. Now we are presenting to the DRC a car wash, and that's going to be changed in the next month. In addition, basically, we are continually processing mobile homes, renovations, alterations for townhomes, minor commercial, tenant improvement, and all of the above for the building department. As always, if you have any questions or I can help, answer, please let me know.
Any questions? All right, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Next item, 7.5, Code Enforcement Monthly Report. Chief Code Enforcement Officer Lewis. Jeffrey?
There you are. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Chief Code Enforcement Officer Jeffrey Lewis. My report for the month of October 2020. As you can see in the attached report for the number of violations that we have. I just had it on my screen. There it is. The number of violations is 38 notice of violations, 4 courtesy notice, and we completed 13 affidavit of compliance. Below that is the before and after photos of some items that have been complied with and violations. The first one is illegal parking on the vacant lot on Hollandale and 56th Avenue, adjacent to the Polo Club. They were having illegal cars parked there as another business. Once we got a hold of the owners of the property, they were able to remove the vehicles and discontinue that business that was running. On South Park Road, there was graffiti on the garage doors, which has been removed by the owners and cleaning up the property. Also on Southwest 41st Street, which is Pembroke Villas Apartments, there was a damaged fence that needed to be repaired and replaced by the property owners of Pembroke Villas, in which they completed that. And as we go throughout town, property owners are taking care of their properties by repainting their buildings, such as 1971 South Park Road, and also cleaning up the cardboards and debris on John P. Lyons Lane. Of course, we continue to monitor Condado Real, in which we call waste management and coordinate with them to remove the trash and debris from Condado Real. Also on Southwest 30th Avenue, there has been numerous graffiti happening on Southwest 30th Avenue. One of the particular buildings is 2400 Southwest 30th Ave, in which our code officer got a hold of the property owner, and they took care of the building by repainting it. And we continue to work with the business owners on 30th Avenue to remove the graffitis. Other than that, we are continuing to work on all the internal reports and our website design. That is all. Does anyone have any questions, concerns?
Anyone? Nope. Thank you for your time, Jeffrey.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to 7.6, business tax receipts and billing update. BTR Administrator Grooms.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Okay, great. The standard report you have in front of you, I've updated it for the 2020-21 fiscal year. Shows you the reimbursable billing for our projects and development. That's on the first page. And then if you go to the second page, it's just showing our renewals for the current year. We're at 87.7% collected. We have our new accounts that have been added as well. And then we have our other collectibles, and we have a couple of areas that are pending that are in yellow. Were there any questions?
Michelle, I do have a question. Where are we with the Church of Christ? I thought we were working out an agreement.
Yes, sir. That information was passed on to the town attorney. I know that he did have some kind of communication with them. He gave a update. I don't remember what that meeting was, but he was referring to their project to sell, well, some kind of acquisition that they were going through to sell the property. And then they would make a payment or either bring the account up to the current.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's turned that information over to our current town attorney, but that was the last report that he gave. Now I can give you an update on Clear Channel. I reached out to them again regarding the bus shelters.
Right.
They are still disputing that a couple of the bus shelters were removed, so they wanted a credit. So they actually made a payment just recently, and I'll be reviewing that documentation and making a recommendation for us to, reconcile that account.
Okay, will that be at the next workshop?
I'll probably do it the following one. The payment just came in the mail this week.
Okay. What about the FDOT lighting maintenance?
That information has been submitted to FDOT for, I don't know why it's a backlog. Maybe they're in the same position we are, where, some of the things are still being done remotely. I did reach out to the representative. She's supposed to get back to me sometime this week to find out what happened, because they usually pay that electronic funds.
Okay. And the Polo Club?
They have received the updated billing. They were also one of the customers that legal did contact. I'm not sure what else to say on their behalf. They did renew their business tax. So they have a copy of the current bill that's due, and they received that this month.
Is Melissa, are you on?
I am on, yes.
Melissa, could you just make a note of Church of Christ and the Polo Club? And I'll get with you and we'll figure out a way to approach these. We'll get with Michelle here and we'll figure out how to bring it forward to the commission and where we're at with these. Is that okay with all the commissioners? Yes, Howard, is that all right with you? Okay, then we'll do that and we'll proceed forward. Anyone have any questions for Michelle?
Mayor, can I also add one other one that we've kind of had issues with off and on? I think it's the fourth one on my property development, the Avi.
Which one?
Number 4, line item 4. They have like 3 or 4 projects, but what happens is they start a couple of different projects and sometimes they get behind. So we need to maybe send them a reminder as well.
Okay. Melissa, let's make note of that one too. And we'll all get together next week and discuss that.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yep. All right. Item 7.7, the 2021 calendar commission meetings. Town Clerk Martell.
Good evening, everyone.
Wait, and the 2021 holiday list. I think that's both. Okay, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is our standard yearly approval of all the meetings that are taking place, our holidays for our employees, and also our regular and commission meetings. The standard holidays, is the normal one that's always provided to you, but the one having to do with the regular commission meetings and the workshops, those we normally have to just have that discussion, because this way we clear it from the get-go. The months of July and August, in the past, we have been having, that's your time of vacation time that the commission takes. I just want you to consider what months you rather be off, if you rather be off in July, or you rather be off in August, or a combination of. Last year, in order to make that happen, what we did was we ended on a commission meeting and we started at a workshop. And the reason being is because that workshop, we would then hear it at the following meeting. So that worked out pretty well for us. So just for all of you to take this into consideration, I just need an answer, or we need to put it to a vote at the next commission meeting, unless, did you want to actually make that decision now if you're going to be off in July or August, or do you want to take it into consideration and just come back to me with what you prefer?
I think we'll take it into consideration. Is that all right with all the other commissioners?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take it into consideration and discuss it at a later time.
Okay. Well, I want to put it for a vote at the next commission meeting. So do you want to vote on it as is?
Well, I'm just kind of trying to see where we're at with the town, because we are launching the police department possibly launching the police department on June 1st.
Okay.
So if anything comes up in that time frame, but we can go with it as is and then make a decision later on. So we can move this to consent agenda if that's okay with all the commission. Anyone?
Okay,
Right.
so what I'll do is I'll move both of these items to the consent agenda. Now, again, this list can be altered at any time. We just have to bring it back to the commission. But I'll leave all the dates as is, and then moving forward, if you want to take your hiatus in July or August, we can make that decision later on. No problem.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, we're moving to 8, Finance Department. 8.1, bills over 500. Interim Finance Director, Tubbenfeld. Harry, are you here? I see his name on the list. Here he is. Harry? Well, muted, unmuted. Harry, are you here? If you are, we can't hear you.
He's here.
I see him here. I just can't hear him. Anyone else?
No, I can't hear him either.
Mark, can you give him a call?
He's
He said he's calling in. He just texted. He's going to call in.
calling in, but I mean, this is just the bills over 500. If anybody has any questions on them, now we
Those
can.
over 500, any questions?
We can move on to 8.2.
Okay. 8.2, bank balances, Interim Finance Director, Tubbenfeld.
Those, well, he provided the bank balances also, if anybody has any questions on those.
Anyone have any questions?
No, we can move on.
No. Okay, 8.3, employee leave report. Interim Finance.
Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Harry, there's an echo. Your computer and the phone can't be on at the same time.
Can you hear me now?
We hear you now.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. What number are you up to?
Harry, we're on the employee leave report.
Okay, yeah, so employee leave report in front of you is just informational purposes, just to give you a status as to the leave balances for all the employees. Monthly report that's given to the commission. Informational purposes only.
All right, 8.4, 2019 annual revenue.
8.4. Yep,
Summary.
8.4 is just an updated revenue and expense summary. This is a final number pre-audit. So just wanted to give an updated financial picture to the commission to give you an update as to what the status was for prior fiscal year 2020.
All right. Any questions? All right. 8.5, check signing policy, Interim Finance Director Tubbenfeld.
Yes. So I'd like to request a change in policy with the commission as it relates to the check signing abilities. Currently, as it's situated, all checks require a dual signature, where the mayor or vice mayor have to sign the top signator, and the clerk commissioner and the other commissioners would be the second signature on the account. With the town moving to a biweekly pay period and also moving the accounts payable payments to a biweekly period as well, it becomes difficult to sometimes to get all the commissioners to come in and be able to get signatures. So what I'd like to request is where we could still have that option where two commissioners can sign, but also give the town manager the ability to sign checks, where one of the commissioners would be the main signature, would be the top line signature, and the town manager would have the ability to be the second signature on the check.
Okay, so let me get this straight here. Right now, currently, line 1 is mayor, vice mayor. Line 2 is clerk, commissioner, or commissioner. And what we're trying to do is change it to where, if need be, the top line will be any commissioner, and the second line will be the town manager. If we cannot get the commissioners available, is that it? Am I misunderstanding that?
No, that's correct.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about that?
My apologies.
So this is the town attorney. I think what we're going to need to do is, because the charter specifically says who can sign or who must sign the checks. So I think to solve that issue, we're going to need to have just maybe a designation, a letter of designation or something, a resolution stating that the clerk commissioner hereby allows the town manager to, it's going to be the town manager, and who has the option to sign?
It's going to be either the mayor, vice mayor, or a commissioner, and a commissioner on the second line, or any commissioner on the first line and a commissioner on the second line. But if I can't get a commissioner to provide the second signature, they would authorize me to sign.
All right, well, let's talk about it. We'll need to do a letter or resolution of some kind, designating you the authority. But I think it's doable.
Go ahead, Howard.
So basically what I'm hearing, mayor, vice mayor, clerk, and other commissioner now, that's what I'm hearing, not the acting clerk commissioner. If they cannot sign, then the town manager would have the ability to sign for them. Is that what we're hearing?
Yes.
Is that? Oh, okay, that's clear now. It's not that the clerk commissioner designates to the manager the right to sign for that second commissioner, because I would be that second commissioner right now, and I would sign, and I usually do sign. But right now, there's no authority giving me the ability to sign. I mean, I'll sign.
That's just what Melissa brought up. Melissa brought up a resolution to correct that problem.
Yeah, so when you do that, I don't have a problem if I'm given the authority.
Okay, Melissa, then let's get a resolution together to make that happen.
All right, we will do that.
Thank you. Anything else on this item? Anyone? All right. 8. Oh, wait, are we? Sorry, gotta move pages here. 8.6, town audit.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry for the technical.
Oh, we can barely hear you.
Just wanted to give an update to, can you hear me now?
We can hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay, just wanted to give an update to the commission. Previously, we had the auditing firm come and give a report to the commission. Just wanted to give an update and inform the commission of two things. One that the audit is finalized and we have submitted our audit to the state. But more importantly, I felt it was important to let the commission know that we had the opinion changed to a better status. What was a qualified opinion for the last 3 years, which means that the financials were fairly presented, but they had issues with certain areas. Now we have what's called an unqualified opinion, which is a clean audit report. So a big thank you goes to all the directors and employees for getting on board and following procedure and protocol. So I just want to go on the record and say thank you to everybody for that. And then also lead to the next item to let everybody know that the next audit is coming 2020. So I'm going to need your assistance to get that done. We have a timeline to be able to get that completed. Our goal is to have that done on time with the March 31st deadline, 2021.
All right. Harry, is this do we need to vote on this item then?
It's not, typically it gets voted on. I guess you could put it on consent. It's just last year it was voted on. I guess it's
okay.
You accept the final audit report, so it should be voted on, yes.
And is everyone okay with this going to the consent agenda? Howard? I can't see you here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But
Then
I
we'll
have
move.
okay, I do
Go
have
ahead.
a question. We're gonna keep our signatures the way we've always done it: mayor, vice mayor, clerk, and then commissioner. That's how you're gonna fix it. That's how you're gonna do it, correct? That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
you couldn't
that was
okay.
item 8.5.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make a clarification. Thank you very much.
Okay, do you have any questions on the audit?
No, nope.
Are you okay with it going on the consent agenda?
Oh, absolutely. Great job, Harry.
Okay.
And everybody that helped.
Thank you.
Marlon, we'll move 8.7 to the consent agenda. 8.8, finance report. Financial.
I'm sorry, 8.7, the next meeting will include an engagement letter from the auditing firm, which will also include a fee. So that's something that you might want to put separate as opposed to putting the consent agenda.
I could barely hear you at the end of that.
I'm sorry. An engagement letter needs to be approved by the commission prior to going forward. So that engagement letter will be presented at the next meeting, at the voting meeting, and included in the engagement letter will be the fee associated with the audit. So I would recommend putting it as a separate line item as opposed to the consent agenda.
All right, let's put that as a separate line item then. And then moving on, 8.8, finance report, interim finance director Tubbenfeld, 2019 budget amendment.
Yes, in preparation for the audit, a budget amendment for the prior, actually 2020 budget amendment. A budget amendment needs to be done prior to the audit. So again, will be brought forward. The actual figures will be brought forward at the next commission meeting for you to vote on.
Okay. And then 8.9, new equipment for town attorney. IT director, Bakula.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, commissioners. This is just for some equipment for our town attorney. That's all it is. Laptop, some other little things that we need to get for that department. And yes, this is a budgeted item.
Okay. Any questions, commissioners? All right, moving on. Section 9, Human Resources Department. 9.1, hiring of town planner, HR director, Menengazo. I don't think she's on. Did everyone have a chance to interview the everyone for the town planner position? Gina, go ahead.
I finished mine.
Okay, Howard
Yeah, I did mine.
and Ray? Okay. You guys want to proceed again like we did for the last hiring? Where we vote at the meeting, rank our top three in order, go with the most, how I think we've done it this way for the last year and a half. It works pretty well for us, so.
May I, Mayor?
Go ahead.
I was thinking about this. I mean, I'm leaning on, one of the candidates, but I was thinking that maybe JC could reach out to Michael, and I know that others want to change, but maybe keep him on as a consultant and see what he would charge, because he has a lot of history in the town, and he could work with whoever you guys choose.
I completely agree with you. He has the knowledge and the background and the experience for our town. What do we have, JC, on that?
Well, I will say that I was going to be providing the commission with another option as well. I reached out to Mike and I asked him to, if he would be open to renegotiating and giving us a one lump sum price to provide planning services. And he is. I was going to be presenting that as one of the options for the town commission to consider. As far as keeping him in as a consultant, I'd have to speak with him. I'd have to get a better understanding. I'll speak to the vice mayor, see what she was thinking exactly. Unless it's just on an hourly basis to consult with our if the town selects a new town planner. If that's what it is, then I can speak to Mike. That's if he'd be interested in that. But I will be providing you guys with a revised proposal, from Mike Miller, a renegotiated proposal with a one lump sum price, and that way there's won't fluctuate higher or lower, unless you guys. I think the only difference is if we do some comprehensive plan amendments or anything like that, that would probably be billed on an hourly basis in addition to that. I think Mike is on. I saw Mike turn on his camera right now and see if he wanted to add anything to that.
Hey, Michael.
Good evening.
How
Can
you
you
doing,
hear me?
sir?
Can you
We
hear
can
me?
hear you fine.
Okay. Good evening. Nice to see you all.
So-
I'm a little perplexed by this. I'm not sure why the town is looking for a full-time employee that's in-house. I mean, I've been the planner for 25 years. Hopefully I've been doing a good job. I try to take the vision and the policy of the council and commission and apply that. I look back over my time for years, and we rarely spend more than 20 hours a week doing planning services for your community. So I'm just wondering, to hire somebody in-house full-time, I don't know what they're going to be doing. And, just like you had on the police presentation, you have the salaries and you have the benefits, you have the cars. When you look at, even a mid-range thing for a full-time employee, it's way more, like $30,000, $40,000 more than my company for 5 employees is charging the city right now. Every month you get a detailed invoice explaining, exactly what we're doing on every project, how much time. I mean, it's not like it's a secret. There's total out front. I'm considered the best there is. I work for Bal Harbor, Bay Harbor, Golden Beach. I just got selected by Hollandale. Out of all the consultants that do government work. I got picked number one again for a 5-year contract. So I'm perplexed why you're doing this. It just seems, if you want to change, you want to change. That's fine. I get that. I'm not gonna be here forever. I plan to work a few more years, but you're a major part of my business. I have a bunch of employees. We all work on the city projects, whether it's CAD work or reviewing site plans or whatever we're doing. And I'm just, I'm a little frustrated. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know if I did something to you guys or I'm not performing well. I'm just perplexed by this whole effort, if you will, to clean up. Yeah.
I can help you with this one. We know you're going to be retiring in a few years, and we need a succession plan here, to have someone in place. In all fairness, your contract is $42,000 a year for the town, but you know as well as I do that we're billing between $200,000 and $300,000 a year for your services, and I understand that the town has been asking for those services. That's why your bill is so high. What I believe myself and the other commissioners, we're looking for someone that will be in here full time. And while yes, on the planning side, that's only 20 hours a week, we also have someone that we can work on getting grants and help redevelop, revitalize, and really kind of give new life to this town. We're not trying to kick you out and kick you to the curb. We would like you to be part of this, knowing that you're retiring. And everyone around here respects you. You're so well respected in Southern Florida by every municipality that does business with you. It's just, we're looking for someone to add some new life into this town, someone that can spend the time working on the grants, to help rejuvenate and revitalize this place. So knowing that you're going to be retiring, this is a good time to take advantage of your knowledge too. I've talked to JC about this several times about trying to come up with a way where we could have our contractor here or our planner here to be able to still use your knowledge and ability and use your history, and knowledge of this town to keep it going in that forward direction. Our thing is you're going to be retiring at some point, and we're going to have a replacement, and we know that's coming. But we're really trying to get this town going in that direction. But it's also expensive of what we're paying you every year, not just that $42,000 a year contract. It's a $200,000-$300,000 a year bill we're paying. So
if I could interrupt, last year we billed $160,000 to the town. So there's never, other than the 1 year with all the annexation and the complaint stuff, there was 1 year like that. So I beg to differ with the number there.
Okay, Harry.
I will say that's why I reached out to Mike, and we came up with a number. I'll present that. It's a flat rate. No, right, Mike? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Everything will be included in that number. Right. I also did want to point out, right before the meeting, I got a text from Yolanda that one of the candidates did withdraw her name, and that's Anne Christine Carey. She's accepted a position with another city.
Okay, Mike, I remember pulling up, it was like 1.3 million for the last 5 years. It was a lot higher number. For some reason, that's what and Harry, are you here? Anyone know if Harry's on?
I don't know if he's on.
Okay. Well, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I'm here.
Harry,
I'm
do you
here.
have the number that we paid for the last 5 years?
I don't have that information in front of me, but I can have that for you in the morning.
Okay, could you just email it to all the commissioners? The last.
Absolutely.
So we have, that way we have an actual number, so we can see what that is.
For sure, absolutely.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor. Or,
Howard. Okay, Commissioner, there's no question that whatever Mike touches, he does a superb job. There's no question that he's respected throughout, I think, the United States as a prime quality planner. However, then I listened to what was said, and we have to prepare, and there is a thing called grants, and we need help. It's better to have these grants come here and we don't lose them. And so if Mike could get a price where he could do both, but get a number, that's one way of thinking. The other way of thinking is the school of thought that you were saying. He's going to retire, then we're going to go looking for somebody. And if we had somebody in-house and let Mike train him, keep Mike on for 6 months, 8 months, a year as a consultant working with this planner, I think we'd get a lot.
And Mike, your knowledge to this town is invaluable. I mean,
there's no question.
We know every nook and cranny and corner in this place, you know, so, and everyone appreciates what you do. It's just, we're looking towards the future and trying to plan ahead, knowing that you're going to be, you know, leaving us at some point here. And we really need some help with grants and revitalizing the town. So having a full-time planner here really makes sense. And you know, I've talked to JC several times about finding a way to get a planner to work with you, you know, come up with the fee that we can agree upon back and forth that keeps you still in the loop while you're still here with us, you know, and have a planner still working on the town so they can absorb that knowledge in the process. So that conversation's been continuous with JC lately. So about trying to find a good plan to make this work.
Yeah, I would bring on the planner with the idea that Mike can mentor him or her, and we move forward. He's done a fabulous job. Like I said, anything he touched, first of all, he can do anything, and everything he touches is superb, as we all know. So that's what I would say. Let's go a planner, and then work out an agreement. Let JC work out an agreement where he can stay with us to kind of watch and guide and help. It is awful nice having a full-time attorney here. I mean, how many decades do we go without that? Not to say that Chris did anything wrong, but it is awful nice when you could just be going to the clerk and you stick your head in, there's Melissa waving to you saying, do you need any help? I mean, come on, that's priceless also. And okay, so that's my comments.
Gina, do you have anything? Ray, are you with us? Commissioner DeVille? I think he stepped out. JC, would you like to add anything?
No, I mean, I'll work with, I'll speak to Mike and see if there could be, you know, if we can work something out. I was, you know, I'll present the options at the next meeting.
Okay. Mike, do you have any questions for us?
No, I mean, you know, I'm a service business, you know, a small business owner, trying to keep my doors open, you know, trying to get through the next few years before I, you know, pack it in. So I'm here to help you if I can. I just want to make sure I was not doing something wrong. I can
Mike,
see
we love you around here. We really do. We're trying to plan ahead. You know, we don't want to.
I get
this
it.
town's kind of been behind the 8 ball for everything, and you know, this is our opportunity to really try and get that step ahead, so we don't end up behind the 8 ball again, especially in your department, which is critical to this town. So maybe you know what, I'll give you a call too, and
Sure.
and talk to you tomorrow if you're available. I know it's the day before a holiday, but I'll give you a call and talk to you for a little bit tomorrow.
No, I'll be around. That's good.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll call you Mike also, if you don't mind.
I'm here for you guys, as you know it. So I'll talk to you all.
Thank
All right.
you, Michael.
Thank you.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too.
All right. Okay, 10, Public Works Department. 10.1, Public Services Monthly Report, November 2020, Interim Director, Interim Services Director, Jacques, funding, grants, etc. Commissioner Clark.
I don't want to just jump in here, but Miriam, I don't know if you're.
I did put it on the side, but I don't think that everybody had a chance to see it. What JC is referring to is that by mistake I attached September instead of November. However, I did email you earlier, so if you could follow that one. The major thing that needs to be seen is that when you look at the report, I have this. I have it on the town hall, sewer, water and streets, and parks. And over in town hall, we don't have any major thing that's been done. It's basically routine. However, we do have the repair of the main line coming up. And I'm considering, I've been pricing how to repave the parking lot. I think everybody thinks that it's time to renew it. And also we're looking at, even though police department may soon take over, to reorganize the garage. Over in Woodland Streets, I guess all of you have seen that we put up the holiday decoration. They look nice. Tomorrow they'll be finished and they'll be right on time before Thanksgiving, which is what I was aiming for. And the guys really work to get it done. They'll be finished tomorrow. Over in stormwater and sewer, over at Bamboo. Vice Mayor Cohen, as you can, I sent you an email earlier letting you know that the pump was repaired and we didn't have to rent one. Luckily, there was no major repair to be done. Everything was fine. They just had to remove those coconuts that were lodged in there and then replace all the bolts and everything else that was causing the high vibration. So that was great. Yesterday and today we did the lining on 52nd. We had a small glitch there. The company is coming back tomorrow to see how they can follow up. The lining didn't go totally as expected, but they still confident that they can fix it tomorrow. And then we went to what they used to call Trinity, where there was some infiltration there. We find several places that needs repair, unfortunately, at least 6 or 5 of them. That's going to require another lining right there too. Over in parks, the park, they've been doing a lot of work over there. As of tomorrow, hopefully the guy will not change his mind. He's supposed to come and do the Behan paving. Howard P. Clark walkway. And we have repainted the benches and we have put back, or I should say the crew did, the sand back. They did all those major cleanup that needed to be done. And over to the preserve, Commissioner Ray, I know you wanted to have, you talk about using maybe you want me to hold back until your turn comes. Do you want to talk about it now?
No, that's fine. We can talk about it.
Okay. Commissioner Ray brought up the fact that only one pavilion is dedicated for rental. And that's the way it's been I ask around. That's the way it has been. However, if this is something the commission is interested in doing, we will need to purchase benches and tables to put on the other one. And when I asked around, I was told that there have been a lot of vandalism for those tables. People, they pick them up and move them around, break them, but it's up to the commission whether they want to do that, and we need to come with a plan. And I've been told that the wooden benches are the best. They can be repaired as opposed to the plastic ones. Once they're broken, you have to throw them away. Any other question you want to ask me?
No, I was just curious why it's always been that way. I mean, it's out of 4 pavilions, we're only using 1, and I think the other 3 can generate really revenue for the town, utilizing them for rental.
Yeah, so the other 3 are smaller, but I know that's not a reason why. It was maybe something that maybe the commission didn't think about, but we can. I'll go ahead and come with a cost estimate and see how much it will cost to buy new tables and benches. I don't think grill will be a good idea because they'll also break them, because they'll have to be the portable one versus the big one we have at the bigger pavilion.
What do you mean by portable ones?
You've seen those they have at the other parks where there is a foundation, a concrete foundation, and they put them, they're like a little tray grill that you can remove. You don't remove the whole thing. The base is concrete and it stays there, but you can remove the tap when you're not using it. Those at least maybe people won't vandalize them, so you only do it when it's rented.
Well, I mean, if it's for parties, they're going to need grills. I guess.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Figure out how to do it.
Yes, in times of rental, we can go ahead and install them, and then afterward we move them. That's an option. Otherwise, we can have the permanent one.
Okay, well, we'll think about it, whatever works.
Okay.
So also the first one, there's one of the outlets on the one closest to the parking lot. There's an exposed outlet. The cover is missing. I think it might be a liability. The one where the one we currently use, the pavilion that's usable right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an outlet there it's fully exposed.
The cover, you mean the GFCI? Okay. Yeah. All right then. I'll note that. Thank you.
All right, Miriam.
Yes.
The antique lights along 95 still are not functioning properly. The timers aren't set right. Some are on, some are off, some are on during the day. They need to be set so they're operating properly. Can you make sure that happens?
Yes, I know that photo cell. Yes, it's just a matter of setting them with. Okay, we'll look into that.
You may have to realign the photo cells in the same direction. So when they come on at the same time as the ones on the north side of Hollandale are off to like the middle of the night. Then they turn on. The ones on the south side, they're on at night, but then shut off. Those ones seem to work properly. It's the one on the north side of the road that the timer or the photo cell, something's not right with those lights over there, and they're still an issue.
Okay, I'll look into that. Some of them, they have on top of the photo cell, they have a timer, which possibly that's probably what's happening because they're not supposed to turn off during the night. So the timer is possibly needs to be reset. I'll look into that. I know those the one at the park, they're being vandalized, so it could be the same thing over there. So we'll have to put a lock in the panel so nobody go and play with them. But we'll look into that definitely.
Can everyone mute for me? Anyone have anything else? for Miriam on this item?
Yeah. Oh, not on that item, but I do have a question.
You want to jump to 13? That was
You
13.
want to do
what?
the list?
No,
You want to do that? It's up to
10-3.
you.
You have to do 10-3, Sierra Club.
You want to do 13-1, finish it?
Okay.
10. What is she doing?
Hello, everyone. Hold on. We're still on 10.1 right now.
Oh.
The next item will be 10.3.
Okay, I still have a question for.
Okay, you have a question under
Just a
10.1?
general question, Tim. Yeah, I noticed the trash cans in front of town hall at the bus shelter. Is that permanent or temporary?
In front of town hall? Or in the back?
Right at the bus shelter, the one we spoke about that needed a trash can.
Oh, somebody just put that thing there. I think today or yesterday. It doesn't belong there. I don't even think it's ours. But
Or they're using it. I see garbage in there. It's not a good look.
but
I thought it was temporary until we get something permanent.
No, we didn't set it. I think it's coming from Broward County, but I'm not sure. I'll double check. It just popped. Yes.
Okay, any more questions on 10.1? No? All right, moving on. 10.3. Town of Pembroke Park and Sierra Club. Hold on. Everyone stop for a moment. Let me read this. 10.3. Town of Pembroke Park.
I'm sorry, Mayor, before you go 10.2, which is part of the decorative pole that you just mentioned.
Miriam, stop. 10.2 has been pulled. We're on 10.
Oh, it's put on hold?
Yes, 10.2 was pulled.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, 10.3, Town of Pembroke Park and Sierra Club agreement with Professional Firefighters Association and Capoeira for All. Commissioner Clerk, Interim Services Director, Jacques, Town Attorney Anderson.
Okay, thank you very much. This is what, there's a lot of static. You can't even hear.
Everyone, thank you.
Is that better? Yeah. Okay, so this is an agreement with 3 different entities. And one, the Sierra Club, which you've been looking at the information for the last couple of months, at least the last month. And they are going to come into the community garden, operate. It'll all be an agreement, a 1-year agreement with the 3 different entities, 3 separate agreements, all mirrored, similar. And that would come back to the commission, and they would be, and Miriam can correct me if I'm wrong. They're to be self-contained, and is that the way you see it, Miriam?
Yes, they'll just be using the site, and they'll be self-funded. Yes.
So these 3 agreements would be for 1 year, and Melissa is working on them now as we speak. So that'll come up at the next meeting for a vote.
Okay, so what will he specifically be doing?
Well, the Sierra Club is going to be doing sample soil testing and experiments. They want to go and get other people involved. They will work so many hours, 2 weeks a month or every other week. And then they will also provide work to the town of Pembroke Park, which is pull weeds for the community garden. So we could use people that we don't have to have an expense, having parks and roads and everybody working with us. They go out into the community garden and the forest, the food forest, the orchard, and similar to Hands-On Broward, and that has been very successful. So that's what they'll basically be doing. Macaulay Capoeira or Capoeira for All, you've seen them out there. They promote wellness, art and dancing, and good eating. And she comes out there usually and gives presentations at other events. And the Professional Firefighters Association of South Florida, they're going to do primarily wellness, exercise, walkathon. And again, they'll all also ship some time in to the town so we can continue our maintenance out there. So that's the 3 of them. And that'll be up.
Anyone have any discussion?
I do.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I have a question for Commissioner Clark. These people that are coming in, are they doing background checks do we have applications?
Well, I believe that's what we would request. And that would be
Okay.
Miriam. Miriam, would that be so?
Yes, because they'll be
Well, I
coming
think that would
from-
go to HR, right?
Yeah, well,
No?
no, because they're not working for the
Oh,
town.
okay.
They'll be coming from Hands on Broward, the organization, and they do their own background check on their ends.
And Capoeira for All, they've been here a while. They were the original founders. And so again, wherever they have to do background checks, they have to do background checks. I know to be a member of the garden, you have to have a background check.
I would like, the town to make sure that we have copies of that keep that on file, because we.
Yes, like Commissioner Clark says, we do have, it's not coming from HR, but the community garden that was before I came, they had already established a background check company that does it. So everybody who applies to be a volunteer through the town, not through Hands on Broward, they have to go to that program and they get clearance before they get to be a volunteer.
And
so we do have something.
Sure, we have to check them out, the ones that we're responsible for. And anybody like any of these entities, the main officers, they have to all have background checks. No problem.
Anyone else? All right, next item is number 11, Town Attorney Reports. Second reading, regular commission meeting of December 9th, 2020, 2020-008, Town Attorney Ordinance. 11.1, COVID Emergency Ordinance, Town Attorney Anderson.
This is the ordinance that you've already seen this ordinance. We did an emergency ordinance. You considered it last time. It's going to be up for the second reading and final adoption at your December meeting. And that's what this particular ordinance is about. It allows you guys to meet virtually rather than having to have a physical quorum.
Any questions? None? Moving on, 11.2, Town Attorney Ordinance. Town Attorney Anderson.
This is, the commission had considered two different ordinances. This is one which had a little bit more specificity as to the town attorney criteria. I've already considered it. This will be the second reading coming up in December, and it will then be final.
Any questions? None? Moving forward, 11.3, Personnel Manual. Mayor Jacobs, Human Resources Director Menegasco, Town Attorney. Town Attorney, you want to take this one?
Sure. Yolanda worked really hard on this employee manual. I read it, JC read it, went over it. I made some changes to it, and I think it looks good. It's comprehensive. It will replace the manual, which has not been changed since 1997, which will be great. And so I thank Yolanda for her effort, and would urge the commission to adopt it, and so that we can have a newer, updated employee resources manual.
Okay. Any discussion? Everyone okay with the consent agenda on this one?
No, not consent for me. I haven't read the whole thing yet.
Okay. We'll have this as a line item for vote in the next meeting. And then moving on, 11.5, amending the emergency powers ordinance. Mayor Jacobs, Town Attorney Anderson.
This ordinance actually predated my arrival to the city, but I did go over it, looked at it. I think it looks good. And so we will be placing it on the December agenda for consideration.
All right, any questions from the commission? Everyone okay with this going to the consent agenda? Okay, Marlon, let's move this one to the consent agenda, 11.5.
Okay, you skipped over 11.4.
No, I don't want that on the consent, if I may. You know, let's have it individual, because these are all very important. You might see something at the very end, if I may. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed 11.4, so we're gonna back up. 11.4, Code of Conduct Resolution, Mayor Jacobs, Town Attorney Anderson.
Again, this is something which predated me, but I think I know that all the commissioners have reviewed this. I know that JC worked on it with Commissioner Clerk, and I read it. I think it's a good place for the commission to start in terms of, you know, code of conduct at your meetings. And so I would recommend passage.
All right, any questions on this?
Yeah, I do. I worked on this with JC, but the more I read it, if you're going to ask the commissioners to do something, then you have to ask everybody to do it. So if you do one group, you should also
be more
include-
specific.
I believe the other employees should be included. We did call Yolanda. I think it was JC and I called Yolanda, and she said she would change it in the personnel manual.
Yeah,
So
the personnel manual has been adjusted to reflect.
Howard, have you read the personnel manual yet?
I've gone through a lot of it, but not the whole thing.
It's been updated to reflect the changes.
Okay, good. Good. Well, again, I think, you know, it's a good start, I should say. It's a good start. And then we could always bring it back up. It's a good start.
And in my opinion, I think the Code of Conduct resolution is for this item is very important for the electeds. So let's move this as also a line item for the next meeting. Any other questions on this? No? All right, we'll move to 11.6, Ryan and Ryan contract. Attorney Anderson.
When I took over, Chris Ryan agreed that he would be available on an hourly rate, which is a very fair government hourly rate. And so this is just a contract finalizing that agreement between the town and Ryan. I don't anticipate needing his assistance a lot, but he certainly, like the town planner, the current town planner does have a lot of historical knowledge about the town. And so I would recommend passage.
All right, any questions? Discussion? Consent agenda, everyone okay with this one? All right.
And can we go back to 11.5? That's going to be a line item and not consent.
11.5 is a line item.
Good, thank you.
I'm not sure if ordinances can be on consent anyway. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check with Melissa anyway.
We have it as a line item. So
yeah,
11.6, the Ryan and Ryan contract will be on the consent agenda. All right. Section 12, Town manager report. 12.1, special election, town manager Jimenez, town attorney Anderson, town clerk Martell.
At the last commission meeting, the commission decided not to, do an appointment for the vacancy on the commission. And so we would need your approval now to go for a special election and the expenses that come along with that. I believe the cost, Marlene, is somewhere in between 8,000 and 10,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and I also received the information about the timing of the election, and it would have to be that, let me look at my calendar real quick.
Don't shoot, okay?
I spoke to our town attorney about it because we needed to look and see what were the dates that would apply in order to go ahead and have the qualifying time. So right now, the qualifying time would be on January 11th through the 13th, because we only qualify for 3 days. And that is 45 days prior to the election. And if we do it in that manner, that means that in December 9th, you would be voting for it. And then you would only have 4 weeks to actually advertise about a special election in order for somebody to run. So this is the information that was provided. And that's all I have.
So what I would request, well, if the commission wants to put this on for the next regular voting meeting, just know that this would be there'd be an expense along with that, 8,000 to 10,000, and it's up to the discretion of the commission at this point.
Yeah, I would put it down as a line item.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would put it down as a line item for December 9th, because then we're running out of time if we don't do something.
Well, I got a little bit to say on this. I think we're jumping the gun on this. We still had the 60-day window to appoint someone. You guys didn't want to go for it, but that's what's in our charter. And we should be exhausting all our resources before we start spending money on a special election. I think it's a waste of funds and, to go with that. But Commissioner Clark wants it as a line item. We'll move it as a line item on the next meeting.
Thank you.
All right. Section 13.1. Was this was okay, this one was deleted. 13.2, multiple vendor contract, Mayor Jacobs, multiple vendor contracts.
No, 13.1, that's
sorry, I
yes.
scribbled it. Yeah, my fault. 13.1, Vice Mayor, improvements of the Howard P. Clark Linear Walkway, Vice Mayor.
Okay, as we have the backup, the pictures. I was very disappointed in what's been going on with Public Works, with the parks, the pavilions, the Howard P. Clark Linear Walkway. There's been, there is no work being done there. But guys have been doing work now, so everybody's, functioning. We had that meeting, so, but one thing I do want to point out that I was really upset about, the dump truck. That's the first time I saw that dump truck was the day of that meeting. I was in devastation. First of all, that dump truck, no employee, no one should be behind the wheel of that truck. There is mechanical problems, there are brakes that lock up, which is a big lawsuit liability to the town. Big safety issue. So I think we need to get rid of it and quickly.
The dump truck, right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Vice Mayor, can you be more specific? The small dump truck or the large dump truck?
Oh,
She has,
that's the lift one, I think they call, right?
No,
Tracy?
it's the pictures on the agenda is on the agenda in the backup.
That would be the
That's-
small one, okay.
That's the small.
Oh, that's the small one?
That's the small one. I think we sold the large one. I signed a title for it this week. So I that one I believe sold. So it's just the small one here that we need to replace.
Yes.
And then if I need to
I agree
clarify,
with
that
you.
dump truck
Yeah.
before was on the budget.
Say that again, Miriam.
It was put on the budget. I had it as a line item under the budget, not specifically dump truck, but I did put equipment, which I had expected to use for equipment under public works. Between the dump trucks, the bobcat, and a pickup truck.
Okay, Miriam, can you make sure we get rid of this dump truck and have get a replacement?
Well, at that meeting that
Yes.
that I had last week. I don't know, I'm getting some backup.
Something's echoing in the background.
Yeah. I'm getting last week at the meeting that I had with Public Works and Vice Mayor Cohen, I did ask Miriam for a prioritized list of all the items that had come up in that meeting, and so we can start chipping away at these items here.
Okay, any more discussion?
Nope, we're on top of it. Thank you.
All right. 13.2, multiple vendor contracts list, Mayor Jacobs. This one's very simple, guys. We have, let me use the electrical contract, for example. We only have one contract out there. We need multiple contracts, multiple vendors that we could go to. The electrical contract we have is expensive. When we're looking at an item to be fixed, if we have multiple contracts, we can get multiple quotes from those three that we have contracts with and save the town money. Is right now the electric contract we have is expensive, and we're getting quotes that are less than what we have under contract. So for the services that we have available for the town and contractors we have available, I believe we should have multiples of each of these. Is everyone all right with that? And Attorney Melissa Anderson?
Yes.
We're gonna need a resolution for this then? Is that what we'll need? Or direction?
Don't know that you need a resolution. Well, maybe what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to have an RFP drafted that will go out to solicit whomever it is, engineering, whatever we're getting, bids for.
Okay.
And then go from there.
Okay. May I say something?
Yep.
Okay. Going back to the multiple contract, this is the first thing that I worked on when I first came to the town, and we need multiple contracts so we do things a lot quicker. We don't have to get those multiple quotes that we're getting, and specifically for the electrical, I tried to do that. I mean, I wrote that one, we got it, we went, and the whole idea was to have a pool of electrical contractors. Unfortunately, only 2 vendors participated, and the idea was to use both of them. However, when we went to do the selection, Ryan decided to only have one. So that was their decision to go that route. And that is a 2-year term contract, which is about to expire in March. Of course, we have the option to renew, which I don't think we will because it's not working out as you just mentioned. But we can take the same.
Well, this is a perfect time then to go ahead with multiple vendor contract list and re-put it back out. So,
right. So that's
Melissa,
what I'm going. We can do.
Okay, Melissa, what would we need then? Do we need a vote on this, or do you just need direction on this?
I think that staff just needs direction, and we can go from there.
Okay. Commissioners, are you okay with going ahead with multiple vendor contracts? Yes. Okay. Melissa, then we'll the commission will give direction to get multiple vendor contracts. So public works or public services has multiple to choose from.
All right, we will start on that project.
All right. Any more on this one? Okay. 13.3, Park Pavilions, Clerk Commissioner DeVille.
Oh, we covered that one already.
Okay. Moving on. 13.4, Credit Line Commissioners, Clerk Commissioner.
Wait, I'm sorry. I forgot there was two on 13.3 had two of them. All right, so we covered one.
Okay, back to 13.
Oh, no, sorry. It's the same thing.
You're killing me. All right, moving on. 13.4, Credit Line of Commissioners, Clerk Commissioner DeVille.
Okay, currently we all have different credit limits. And I think the fact that we all have equal power, we should also pick a number and we all have the same credit limit. I think that's the fair way to do it. One commissioner shouldn't have more than the others.
What are you recommending?
I'm not recommending a number. I'm just recommending we all have equal. So the number is up to you, whatever we feel is right or necessary.
Right. Well, let me just tell everyone what everyone's credit limit is. I have it pulled up right here. The former mayor had a $20,000 limit. I, as the clerk commissioner, had a $5,000 limit. Commissioner DeVille had a $2,500 limit. Howard Clark had a $5,000 limit. And Cohen, you had a $1,000 limit. Nope, you had 1,000. All right. Anyone want to come up with a number here?
Sorry, how much is the mayor's limit?
20,000. That's a pretty high number.
That I was gonna suggest that maybe we lower that.
Yeah, how about 10,000 across the board? I mean, keep in mind, all of these have to have receipts. They're all monitored by our finance department, and every month that invoice comes in. And if not, Christian will be on you like nothing to get that receipt in there. I know this from personal experience.
Yep.
Anyone else? Yep, go ahead.
I would go with 5,000 for the commissioners. I mean, what are we going to spend, for the commission?
I will tell you that this month I had to use that just for our deposits and other expenses for different things like the turkey drive and whatnot. So my card went all the way up and then down for covering our expenses. So I was right there at the line. So how about 7,500 per card for the commission? It's just a little higher. That gives us a little extra when we have to plan these events and make those purchases.
And we don't have to use it.
Nope, you sure do not. Commissioner DeVille?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, 7,500.
Howard? Yes, Howard? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So then the commission will give Finance Director Tubenfeld direction for a $7,500 limit on the credit cards.
Okay, I'll note it.
Any other on this one? Nope. Okay, moving on. 13.5, designation of annexation representative, Commissioner Clark, Town Manager Jimenez, Lobbyist Sigerson.
Okay, so I have no problems with that, with including JC at all.
JC, you want to add on this?
Actually, when over the last month or so, maybe a couple months, actually since basically I started here, Commissioner Clark has, kept me abreast and really educated me on the annexation process, the annexation issues that we've had, and as well as the Dave Sigerson, the lobbyist Dave Sigerson. So I've been, every meeting that he has with Sigerson, I've been there, and I've been shadowing them, so and keeping more.
Okay. That's just, I want to make sure, Howard, that you make sure you complete a monthly report to bring to the commission, so we stay up to date on this across the board with all the commissioners.
Yeah, and I think Dave Sigerson is already doing that.
Okay.
He is the main lobbyist, okay, on that. And Dave, you want to comment? I can do that. I can just.
Yes. My point is, you're the liaison on this item. So, we can't have that conversation with Sigerson on certain things, because we don't want to be used as a conduit and have a sunshine issue. So
no problem. I understand what you're saying. No problem.
Mayor, excuse me, Mayor, if I could make a comment, yes, I would, continue to report to Commissioner Clark periodically, so that he would be prepared to make a monthly report, and as well to the manager, to JC, and continue to copy him on events as they unfold. And I just wanted to say, on this particular resolution, I wanted to state for the record that it's really nothing more than a reiteration of the town's historical position. There's nothing really new here. And I would also like to make a comment about what I spoke about earlier about Senator Jones bringing this issue up at the delegation meeting. I've had conversations with him, and one of the things that I wanted to remind the commission about Senator Jones is that last session, during the crunch time on budget, he came to me and asked me, David, what can I do to push the John P. Lyons project, which is something that we were going for. And I suggested a couple of things that he could do, and he went and did them. So I think we need to, going forward, we need to continue to have good relations with him. Last session, he produced for the town, even though that item ultimately got vetoed by the governor. I just want to say for the record that, he did come through for the town, in a big way. He did what I asked him to do. And we got the thing in the budget. And it'll be even more important in his new position as our senator. It will be key for us to have and continue to have good relations, with him, if we want to get items in the budget. And anyway, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Go ahead, Howard.
Okay, and then the opposite side, that is so. However, our neighbors fought us tooth and nail for the last 2 years on the House of Representatives side and the Senate side. So there's more than one player here. So you have to know that there's still a threat. And Dave can now remember that, right, Dave? So that's right.
I think the continued discussion of this item, this annexation issue, as between West Park and Pembroke Park, continues to come from individuals from West Park, and we need to I think keep that in perspective as we move forward. And as I said during the earlier item, we need to, I think, and I will obviously will be monitoring very carefully. I don't know whether it's going to be a virtual meeting in January or whether we're going to have in-person meeting. But either way, I'll either be there or I'll be there, virtually, to monitor very closely the discussions that occur during this workshop that Delegation Chair Senator Thurston plans to have in January, and we'll be prepared to deal with whatever comes from that workshop, as we have in the past. We've always met these threats to the town from those elements. We'll meet them again.
Okay. Is everyone okay with this going to the consent agenda? Ray? Cohen? Howard?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. We will move 13.5 to the consent agenda. Thank you, David. Appreciate your time. 13.6.
Oh, and Mayor, just
yes, sir, go ahead.
And thank you. Yes, I just wanted to, on behalf of newly re-elected Pompano Beach City Commissioner Rhonda Eaton and myself, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. And tell her congratulations for us, would you?
I will. I will.
All right. Thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving. All right. 13.6, property standard. Commissioner Clerk, Town Manager Jimenez.
Okay, commissioners, what we've done, we've driven around, JC and I, and the idea here is before we pass more legislation, writing people up, even though we'll do that, if the property standards are up, we have an ordinance that's in effect right now. But the idea here is through grants, and there's many different organizations, and that's the direction we want to go in, to seek out grants, funding. And so that's what this is about for JC and I. And we'll keep coming forward with it and giving you updates.
So can I just say something? This wouldn't this almost be the same as having a town planner who's getting the grant?
We want the town planner to help. Yes, that I agree with that 1,000%. I talked to Yolanda today, and have a requirement that the person, she or he can go and be certified. And she said it's a 2-day program. We had a good discussion about it. And that's where we need help. As you can see, yes, it would be welcomed tremendously. Okay, but I just want to let you know, we're not going to drop the ball. JC and I are going to keep going forward, talking to everybody, looking for, SHIP money, MPO, CARES Act, Department of that's the Department of Ecology, the EPA, HGMP, anything we can do, we'll put it out there, let the lobbyists, look at it and see. That's the wish list. So now you see what's part of the wish list. So that's what that one's about.
All right. Moving on, 13.7, lake patio setback variance. Commissioner Clark, Interim Public Services Director Jacques, Town Planner Miller.
Okay, that's not me. That would be more Interim Public Service Director Jacques and Town Planner Miller.
Mike is going to talk about it. We have a mobile home owner who wants to have a zoning variance, and Mike is working on it with her. Mike, do you want to go and explain?
Actually, I haven't talked to anybody yet. You and I talked about the situation. I haven't even seen the plan yet, but we did provide, we have an established application form. The variance form has a different set of standards, if you will, for single family and mobile homeowners versus like a commercial or industrial thing. So it's a much less application fee and so forth. But a couple years ago, we did one in Park Lake Estates, I believe it was, for a dock, and there was something similar to this. So there is an established procedure, pretty straightforward. It was clearly, a unique situation. So we'll reach out to this person, get them the application form, and then bring it to you as soon as we can.
She did do the application and brought it to the town this morning.
Oh, great.
Can we get some pictures also next time, just so we know what you guys are referring to?
I'd like to see them myself. The pictures, plans, we need everything. Yeah.
Okay. There was supposed to be one attached to this. Okay, they didn't make the meeting, but okay, I'll go ahead and make sure it's emailed to you, Mike. And
Yeah,
the
there's
commission.
nothing attached to this.
Yes, yes, he did send something. I will.
All right, any more discussion? Since there's no pictures, would you guys like this as a line item? Yes, yes. All right. Let's make 13.7 a line item. And please make sure those pictures are on there. Miriam?
Yes, I will.
Okay. 13.8, Florida Department of Agriculture, Consumer Services, Commissioner Clerk, Interim Services Director.
Okay, and commissioners and mayor, this is where, and I want to thank the commission, first of all, for allowing us to even make the application. And then I'd like to also thank Miriam, Jacques, and Dan Ortiz and everybody, Connie, everybody worked diligently to get this up and to them for their review. And we have come in number 6 out of 16, and it's quite an honor for us. And this would be the educational center, the changing, expanding of the staging area, and repaving of all the asphalt and striping. So this is quite a big thing for us out there. As you know, all of you and myself worked on the food giveaway, and it was plenty of times when it was kind of hot out there. And now they'll expand the whole staging area where it'll be much bigger. And that's a huge plus. So we qualified, but now we have to go to the appropriations and get the approval. And all your lobbyist team is aware of this, and they'll all be poised to do it. I am going to go up and speak to Nikki Freeze. Dee is already setting that appointment up, and we are going to bring home the bacon. Okay. And
all
so
right,
that
do we need to vote on this then? Or was this for information?
we're going to vote. Well, I think we need to vote that we accept the letter.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
then,
better to vote.
everyone okay with the consent agenda on this one?
Yeah.
Cohen? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you or see you.
Yes.
Okay, Ray, good? All right.
Okay.
We will put 13.8 on the consent agenda. Moving forward, 13.9, Agro-Eco Education Center. Clerk Commissioner
I
Clark.
think it's a duplicate.
That's a duplicate. Yeah, that's a
Yes.
duplicate. So you could go past that.
Okay. 13.10, Agro-Eco Wellness Center, Walkathon at the Preserve 2021, Commissioner.
And yeah, again, that's going to be one of the entities, the Professional Firefighters Association of South Florida. They want to come in and do programs, do events, and so that this is tied in with them.
Okay, on this item, I do have something to say because I understand you want to bring back the walkathon, but we are in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
And until the emergency orders removed, I don't think we should proceed forward with any of these in-person items. We're able to do like the turkey drive because we can do it as a drive-through along with our toy drive and some events. But a walkathon would be too many people together in a place. So my suggestion would be to table this until we have have the pandemic over or the emergency orders been removed.
Okay.
I agree.
Wait a second. You might think differently. This came up when we talked to them, and they said, and we all recognize that. So walkathon is probably the wrong word. They're thinking more of compliant groups, less than 10, and doing different things. It doesn't just have to be a walkathon. They could do exercise. The most important thing is to let them come in and be part of all our programs.
Well,
And
they've
whatever
always
it
been
is,
part of our town in programs. We've always included the professional firefighters.
well, no, this would make them officially in here. That's what we're doing. Yes, I know. We're not going to have, they'll do whatever the commission and the town says regarding compliance. And so that's not a problem. So let's go forward with it, but they can't hold any event that's going to be in conflict with the COVID standards. So that's what I'm trying to say there.
Well, any more discussion?
I do. I mean, if you go along with this and say there's already 10 people in the park or 15 people in the park walking around, and then you bring others in, I mean, it is a problem. Howard, it would be.
If they don't do it properly, it won't be done. And everything before they do it should come back in front of the commission so you can review it. The idea is last year they did blood pressure checks. So they had people come up, you know, and they want to do services and they want to be part of the town. And so they're asking, it's a 501c3. And so they're asking if they can join like the others. That's all.
And they've always been part of our town, and that's never been an issue before. You know, I think like things like CPR training, you know, first aid, you know, those are all important that classes that we can put on, you know, for the community to help everyone, you know, in due time when we are not in the midst of a pandemic. But, you know, in each of those items will need to come forward before the commission anyway. So we can put this on as a line item for the next meeting. We are not trying, I don't think anyone here is trying to push the professional firefighters out of this town, their association out, because they are at every event. They are a part of this town as well. So let's just move this as a line item and vote on it at the next meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion? Nope. All right, moving along. 1311, land appraisal, Countyline Road, Southwest 52nd Ave, Southwest 52nd, Southwest 52nd Ave, Southwest 56th Ave. Commissioner Clerk, Interim Public Service Director Jacques, and Project Manager Woodbury.
Okay, there's commissioners and mayor and vice mayor. There is 2 parcels of land, maybe 3, along Countyline Road from 52nd Avenue to 56th that we need to acquire before we can go forward with the project. We need a right-of-way or an easement. And this is just to delineate the area so that when the property owners approached again, and we met with them, Michael Miller met with one, and SOAR, and everybody met with another one with us. So this is, and we'll have, Stephanie can explain it, or Miriam, exactly what I'm saying, so you know it's coming from staff. The amount associated with it. Okay.
Yes, Stephanie went and got some price for an appraisal
And we got the attachment, and the appraiser can, his fees are $3,600 to do the appraisal. It will come up what the value of the land is and how, and we'll multiply that by how many square footage that we will need for the sidewalks and the stormwater pipeline on county line.
And what this does, commissioners, this is part of the MPO. And again, we're under a timeline. And so this would allow us to go forward to approach the property owners with we have to purchase it. And what's most critical here, this is an ocean outfall connection. So even though it's not very long, it's very critical to the overall master drainage system. And then of course, sidewalks on top, we know how important that is down there for our children. So it's all tied in to the MPO. And then I think the lobbying team might have to also get an appropriation to fill in the gap with the money. We have to put so much money down, and then there's a gap that the town would have to have. And so that is all in play here, and a timeline. So this is important.
It should be noted that it's right away for 2 properties, and then the other 2 properties along that stretch where the project would occur, we already do have a right of way there. So it's kind of like split up a little bit. And that's what's preventing us from pursuing this project.
How much is this going to cost us, JC?
As far as the appraisals is
Yes.
$3,600 for both of them.
Okay, and do we have funds available for this?
I mean, I'd have to ask Harry for the funds. If not, you'd have to make an appropriation out of reserves for it. This was not budgeted.
Is Harry on still?
Yeah, he is.
Can you hear me?
Harry? Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, great.
Is there a way to come up with this 3,600? Do we have I know it wasn't a budgeted item, but a way to come up with the money here?
I'm sure we can find $3,600 to cover this expense.
Okay. And would everyone be okay? Any more discussion? Everyone okay with putting this on the consent menu or consent agenda? Yeah, okay. Then let's put 1311 on the consent agenda.
Got it.
All right. 1312 has been removed. I'm going to call this 1313 color palette. Clerk Commissioner DeVoe.
Currently our approved colors for the town, whether it's a business or residential, is more towards brown, different variations of beige, boring colors. I would like us to try to expand on that to add some more vibrant, modern colors to the palette. We do have developers that's developing and they want to have something nice and decent for the town. And I think too many beige and browns and whites are, it's not going to cut it if we're trying to move forward and make the town more modern. I don't know if Mr. Nunez want to comment on that also, because she's probably out there and noticed.
I can actually say something on this, as I've been through our color palette recently when I was trying to pick a color for my home, besides the white and the off color. So our color palette is pretty stale. It's more or less earth tones. And that's just my opinion. I think it needs updated as well. Michael Miller?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about our color palette? Antiquated?
No, I would say that you have a much wider color palette than most cities that I work for. Now, having said that, you know, most of my other client cities are the very high-end residential communities in Dade County, you know, a Bow Harbor or Golden Beach. The town created the color palette in 1998. And there was some reasons for that at the time, some specific situations that the commissioners wanted to address. The door is quite wide open. In 2015, we did a major update of that. So there's at least 260 some colors that are, you know, in grays, beiges, yellows, peaches, all kinds of stuff in there for the base colors. For trim colors and secondary, we allow a very wide, almost wide open, as long as it's not gaudy or anything. But we can certainly take a fresh look at it. It's, you know, your Commissioner DeVille's correct. A lot of people choose the earthy colors. It's just kind of what, you know, is around these days. But we do get lots of requests for other colors, and if they're in the book, we certainly approve them. So it's not like people, I don't know, I can't think of one where recently we had anybody, you know, that we had to say no, tone it down or something. For the base colors, a couple trim colors we had to adjust a little bit.
Mike, when we have a contractor and they come forward for the planning and the sign off and all that, isn't that when we approve the colors? I mean, can we approve something that's outside if it's not, you know, extreme, or, you know, do we need a color palette, seeing how, I guess, I believe it's approved in that process, right? The colors when they.
I would strongly recommend that you keep a color palette. The code provides that variations can be granted for that. You're right, as we get site plan approvals in, we request that they provide a color rendering, if you will, to give the town a flavor of what they're looking for. But subsequent to the original approval, we often get requests. In fact, we just had a DRC meeting last week where the racetrack gas station up on Pembroke Road wants to apply I guess the latest corporate colors for racetrack that were different than what was on the original plan. So the site plan exemption section allows the DRC to consider changes like that. And then often, you know, our office is charged by the code with reviewing and approving the color palette, the color request. And we keep the door pretty wide open. You know, we know that this town is not, you know, like, you know, some other crazy restrictive town. So there's a lot of freedom built in. There's a lot of colors available. But I would strongly recommend that you not delete it entirely.
Not to delete it, then what would you suggest we do? Update it?
We can look at it again, update it, broaden it again. So, you know, again, you know what my opinion is that there's a whole bunch of colors that people just don't pick for like the base color, and the trim is allowed pretty much anything as long as it's not crazy or something, you know. But we can easily, I can do a quick review of it, give you a little quick note on it, and then you guys can choose to do whatever you want to do.
Would the commission be okay with direction to have Michael Miller take a look at that, guys, for all of us? Howard?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ray? Okay. Michael Miller, then I guess we'll give you direction to look into the color palette and recommend an update for us with that.
So be happy to. Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion on that? No. All right. We'll call this one 13.14, business signage. A while back, and Michael Miller, you'll want to stay on for this one because this involves you. A while back, we had like an emergency ordinance that we kind of did for the businesses here in town to let people know that they were open during the COVID here. It was like a 60-day agreement. They could put some signage out. Unfortunately, those I'm like everyone else. We don't like the fan thing on the side of the roads. You know, those are kind of obnoxious. But I think some of our business owners, one approached me today about having an open sign. You know, we're open, you know, during COVID because their businesses are struggling, and the majority of our town is small business. So I believe as a commission, you know, in support of our community to help our small businesses, we need to reconsider doing this and putting that back forward through this pandemic, that we can have a plan put in place, you know, to let these businesses continue until such time the pandemic ceases, and then the signs will come back down. But, you know, some appropriate means to let people know that their businesses are still open and help these businesses survive during this time. It's becoming more and more difficult for them. With the conversations I keep having, you know, my own personal business as well, I get it. It's things are tough right now. So anyone have any input on that?
I think it's a great idea, Mayor.
Okay, Ray? Michael, we had Howard, what about you? Okay, Michael, I'm not sure exactly what we had in place. I kind of got a brief update on it from Lucy today. It was like a 60-day something or other little contract that we made with the business owners. And is it possible to do something like that again and kind of, you know, within means? I don't want anything crazy, you know, going out there, but something that helps those guys, you know, let people know. I think as a town that has the majority, you know, of business in it, this is important for our town. So,
Sure, absolutely.
Are we okay with direction, or do we need to have a vote on this?
I'll get with Lucy, but find out how we did it the last time. Excellent.
Okay, if we have to vote, then I'll just put it as a line item on the meeting, if that's okay with everyone. So that way we got a place for it if we need to vote on it. If not, you know, we can always pull it. Everyone all right? Okay. More discussion on that? Okay. Moving on, commissioner comments. Mayor Jacobs, that starts with me. I do have some comments that I'd like to add. I got an email today, guys, and I want to share it with you. It's from Broward regarding the CARES Act. As I'm going through, I'm looking at it right now here. There's only 2 towns that haven't had any businesses put in for any of the funds to help their business. It's us and the town of Lazy Lakes. And y'all know we have 600 businesses here in this town. So our communication with our businesses is nearly non-existent, along with our residents. And we're moving forward with the Everbridge. We're obtaining emails. So I don't have to go door to door with, you know, the other staff and hand out those flyers like we do. We're building a database of these emails so we can send that out on Everbridge. But we have 600 businesses here in our town. 2 weeks ago, I actually got a hold of Michelle Grooms, and I asked for a list of all the businesses, the owners' names, phone numbers, and emails, so we can put again an email together for our business owners when things like this come available, that we can send out. She told me it would take about a month to get that to me, so I still got 2 weeks to get it. But I want to read you this email. It's really short. It'll just take a moment. It says, "Good afternoon, Mayor. As a reminder, the County CARES Act grant program for small businesses and nonprofits is still accepting applications. Please be sure to share this with your business and community services providers for this opportunity. The application deadline is December 2nd. Applications are received daily from 6 a.m. till midnight. As you know, we have partnered with some of you and are administrating your small business grant funds as part of the county program. The list below states the applications and the forms of the cities. I just think we're not doing a service to our business community by not getting this information out to them. I try to get stuff listed on my personal political Facebook page, the town page. We had Deidre put a thing together for us today, but we need to get things out to our businesses when we have opportunities like this for them. These are grants. These are going to help these guys keep their doors open. They stay open, we stay, you know, our town stays continuing on. I just think it's very important that we get back to the reason why we're all here. The reason we're here is for our community, and our community consists of these businesses. So I just wanted to share this with you. Deidre's got a flyer. So if you guys have businesses in your district, can you please print those and take those to your businesses? Excuse me, a little dry from talking. I'm gonna try tomorrow and get some of these flyers out because the deadline's approaching on this. I'm just gonna walk door to door and try and deliver some of these to our businesses. But if you guys could also take that, I would really appreciate it. That's all I have. Mayor Cohen, Vice Mayor Cohen.
I would just like to compliment you on the great job you did, Mayor, for our turkey drive. It was a good theme. You know, I love the turkey hats, the aprons, and it was a really good night. It went very well. You did a great job.
Thank you. I was just trying to put a little joy back in the community.
Yep. Well, you did.
A lot of smiles out of it. Go ahead,
You
Jason.
did.
You know, and sorry, since you mentioned the turkey drive, I did want to thank Joy very much for her hard work. She did an outstanding job. It was very organized, very well run. 300 turkeys given out. She just did an outstanding job. Her and the staff. Everybody came together.
All the employees.
Bagging the groceries for the from the Friday before. But I just can't say enough about how hard Joy worked, and it was great.
And just to add a little more to that, Joy went above and beyond for our town. She's a very vital part for all of us commissioners, and she worked very hard to make sure that went off flawlessly. I went out today and delivered some to our disabled that were unable to come out. I can tell you last night, I was very happy to see everyone's faces, not just our residents, but our staff. I don't know if anyone noticed how everyone was happy, getting along. You know, we really are coming together as a team now, and I'm very proud of that. And Joy again went above and beyond for us to make sure that event went off very well. So, Cohen, do you have anything else?
No, I agree with you. Everybody did a wonderful job, and Joy went out of her way and above and did a wonderful job. And you too, Mayor.
Thank you. Clerk Commissioner Duvall.
I agree with all you guys. I think Joy did a great job, and the rest of the staff, we all worked together as a team. I was there late yesterday, but I was there, and Joy does call me the most because I'm closer to Townhouse. So anything she needs, I'm there. Joy, I know you're listening. You have something to say, Commissioner, Vice Mayor?
I forgot to mention JC. He's been doing good work. He was out there passing turkeys out with me today. Yeah, and he was out there last night. Good job, JC.
Yeah, so that's a wonderful thing we're doing, getting together, being like a family. And I know we got a thing tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be there. And can't wait to see where we are in 5 months, 5 years from now. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Commissioner Clark.
Oh, wait. I forgot to say something.
All right.
I have to say, you guys, I've been called Ray a lot on the dais. I think moving forward, we have to be more professional. and address each other either title and or last name.
Clerk Commissioner, you need to change your name on your.
Right, I didn't put it on there.
You see that?
I didn't put it on there.
There's a little edit window where you can correct that. All right, Commissioner Clark, you have anything?
Okay, I'd like to say, I thought everybody did a great job. It was nice to see all 4 commissioners out there working and JC. And I would like to also congratulate Joy. She's always fabulous. But I would like to add one more thing, my next topic. I would like to add on to that wish list that we had up at, what was it, 7-1. I'd like to put in there a couple of items that if they could find funding for, that we could go with that. And that is for replacing of force mains and relining, money for lining of pipes. We have a big infiltration problem here. So I would like to have those added to a wish list besides our main priorities. I would like to also ask the town attorney if we could work on the neighborhood improvement program. And I think that could be a big asset for us, so we could help accommodate some of these situations. So I'll get with her and I'll give her the site, and then we could bring that back up for the workshop, the next workshop. And that's all I have.
Commissioner, just make sure either if you want to come here, we can call Sigerson so he can update his report to reflect what you just added right now.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Okay.
All right, moving on. Number 15, announcements. The pension board meeting will be December 9th at 6:45 p.m., just before the meeting, like we always do with Gloria. Our regular commission meeting will be December 9th at 7 p.m. following the pension board meeting. Our toy drive will be Thursday, December 17th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Our workshop commission meeting will be Wednesday, December 23rd at 6 p.m. Everyone got those dates down? Okay. Number 16, everyone's favorite part, adjournment. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
All right, great meeting, everyone.
Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Have a great
This
Thanksgiving,
conference is no
everybody.
longer being
Happy
recorded.
Thanksgiving. Be safe.
We'll see everybody for breakfast.
All right.
You're cooking, Howard. Get here early.
Hey, what's the box Jacobs was talking about?